It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
80 years ago today, what was going through the minds of tens of thousands of Allied troops knowing they're about to launch for Normandy Beach?
Yeah.
80 years ago tomorrow is D-Day, which means 80 years ago today, guys were throwing up and stressing and smoking cigarettes and freaking out. And I just feel like it's worth mentioning the day before we mention it. God bless all of you.
Yeah,
Man.
Well, they had been on that edge for about 2 weeks as they prepared for that, just kind of waiting for the weather to clear, which it didn't completely. And I just said, let's get this over with.
Man, I just Band of Brothers, Private Ryan, whatever you want to watch over the next few days, if you want to look back and go, holy smokes.
Right.
I've been to Normandy Beach on a couple of occasions, and if there's one place you can go in Europe where they go, are you an American? Here, have a free meal. It's Normandy.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, they haven't forgotten over there, and neither should we. So there, I got it out of the way, but tomorrow we'll probably mention it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Here's some great news to start the day with.
All right.
Chauncey Gorman got the all green light to fully recover. He's back. He's been out of the cast for a month.
Yeah.
Went to the vet yesterday. Got the checkup. They did the final X-ray. They're like, he's good to go. Well done, keeping him from breaking it again. He's in good shape. But here's even better news. I saw Naz Reid at the vet.
Oh.
Naz Reid at the vet with his French bulldog.
Does he have his own Naz Reid tattoo?
Not that I saw,
but the bulldog does.
I was looking. The dog does. Absolutely.
Shaved into the side of him.
He's got a French bull, a little French bull.
Just a gorgeous little brindle French bully.
Nice.
Did
you bother him?
Yeah, of course. I looked over and I was like, "There's no. Hey, that looks like Naz Reid.
Right.
It's Naz Reid because, of course, he was standing, which helped. Not that many people I looked that highly up to, and I looked at him and we caught eyes. And check this out. I went, "Hey, man," and guess what he said? "Hey, man." That was it, and we're like friends now, so that was great.
To be said.
Yeah, and then he went into his,
Is he joining us for the pub crawl on Saturday?
Thank you. You comment. Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
He'll be in Anoka with us. No, that's not true. Unless it just happens to be the case. Maybe he and I are going to have we've started a series of you again? No way.
Son of a gun.
Stalker.
But he went into they walked him and his pet and his I don't know if it's his wife or his girlfriend. They went into a room and he's so tall you could the rooms are blocked out, so you can't walk by and look into an examination room and see someone else's pet. But after a certain point, you can see in there, and he's so tall I could still see him through the window. And I thought for a minute I should take a picture and send it to O'Connell, my son. He'll freak out. And then I thought, no, that's so uncool. That's not the kind of thing I need to. That I feel bad about.
You know what's kind of uncool?
What?
Owning a French bulldog. It's gotten a little cliche, hasn't it? Yeah, it's a little too fashionable right now.
But I thought about it. I gave it a half second of like, I'm going to, because my son would be like, no way. But then I was like, no, that's just ridiculous. The guy's here. Maybe his dog's sick. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's a checkup. But so I let it go. And I'm glad I did that, because had I done it and he wouldn't have noticed and nobody would have ever cared, it would have haunted me all day.
Yeah.
I would have felt like a total jerk.
Cool enough that you saw him and you told your boy.
See,
if you had him autograph a body part and then had that tattooed over, like people sometimes do with famous autographs when they
totally
do their
different
body
thing.
Part. Yeah, then you would have had the original Naz, tomato, potato.
Yeah.
That would have been fully acceptable. He would have gone for that. Here, give me this. Give me the Naz Reid in script form.
Was his hair down or up?
Down.
All right, cool.
So I was thinking about it. In that moment, we have, but it was like that's my example of one of those things that just pops up where I just think to myself, make the right choice, be on the right side of history. Don't tell that story years later and go, yeah, and then I took his picture and I felt like a jerk after. Or how about this? How about this? You know what we did after we got Chauncey home from the vet? We went to the grocery store, and you know what happened yesterday? I watched it happen, and my wife kept me from saying, I watched someone take their card out to the car, empty it into the car, and leave the card there. And 9 times out of 10, I will go by and say something, and she was like, just no, don't, because there's an older fella, and she's like, you're going to antagonize him. And I'm like, well, how did he make it this old if he's such a bad person? She was like, oh my God, that's why you can't say anything. You've lost your mind.
Should have punched him.
People on Instagram have been ripping into the psychiatrist in L.A. Did you see this?
No.
About leaving her shopping cart, but she said, I'm a mom. I don't have time to drop the shopping cart. I've got kids in the car.
I'm not returning my shopping cart, and you can judge me all you want. I'm not getting my groceries into my car, getting my children into the car, and then leaving them in the car to go return the cart. So if you're going to give me a dirty look, off.
Well, listen to this. If you can't afford the maintenance and the insurance, you can't afford the car. Right. If you can't figure out a way to get your kids and the groceries in the cart, don't take the cart.
She's a psychiatrist.
She's a psycho.
The
That's
walk
insanity.
to the cart return is like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Just enough time for the kids to unbuckle, jump in the driver's seat.
Figure it out. Figure it out, sister. I don't think she lives in Compton.
No, probably not.
Unbelievable.
No.
But you know what? We have these ethical dilemmas every day. We face these things every day. Yeah. Let's talk about some of the moments we find ourselves facing. And I do have a story, by the way. What did Mike Brady on the Brady Bunch teach us? Caveat emptor. Let the buyer beware. It's all going to make sense. Trust me. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Wednesday, June the 5th. That song, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, was just playing. Brian Zepp and I sitting here talking about, well, we weren't talking. We're both just thinking about what we're going to talk about. And I heard that guitar solo, and I just sat up straight in my chair and went, listen to that. What a ripping guitar solo. I've heard that song a billion times. Yeah. I've never once thought about it.
Oh, now we got to play it right, or could you just hit that again one more time for us?
Play the whole song, and then I'll point out, and I'll talk us through every note and why I think it's great. No, but it's just one of those funny moments where it's like, I've heard that song, I mean, literally countless times, and it just dawned on me at a very low volume because I didn't have my headphones on. Man, just ripping the snot out of a guitar solo. Total throwback to a 50s style solo, but Brian May. That's it. I'm done. Hats off, Brian. Well played.
He's a good guitar player.
You just snuck one in on me, dude. I appreciate that after all these years.
Yeah.
Sorry it didn't dawn on me sooner how badass that was.
That's weird. That happens every once in a while. A classic rock song here on 92.5, and I heard it a million times. Yeah. But heard something new all of a sudden, just tooling down the road, paying attention.
It's funny what happens when humans play instruments.
Yeah.
You know, it lasts and it's got legs and it can go on forever. Alameda, California is in the Bay Area. If you're familiar with San Francisco at all, it doesn't matter. It's near San Francisco. Across the water from the Bay Bridge, if you want to be, kind of technical. There is check this out. There is a house on the market for $400,000 in Alameda, California. $400,000 for a house with a little bit of property is beyond a bargain. It is one of the most expensive parts of the country to live in. You would normally think any just single family home, 2-bedroom, 1-bath is going to be $1 million guaranteed.
Oh, easily.
This house hit the market for $400,000, and a buyer purchased it sight unseen at an auction. Actually,
people are doing that now.
It was auctioned off. The buyer was unaware, as it turns out. True story. The property backs up to a lagoon. In fact, by backing up to a lagoon, I mean it's been overtaken by the lagoon. It's underwater.
I've been upside down on property before.
$400,000 for a parcel of land that's underwater at a lagoon.
Nice. Here, listen to how the realtor described it.
This is unique to me. This is the first time I've come across something like this. I've had some unusual properties in my career, but this was a first. The lagoon area is beautiful. It's peaceful. It's very quiet. It's like you're having your own little oasis.
Yeah, your own little oasis, right?
So what does that mean? You get to take a little dinghy out and sit there and go, I own this part of the lagoon.
Yeah, well, maybe you could, build an island on it, something floatable. We see those big floatable tramps out on Minnetonka.
Yeah.
Put one of those out there, or maybe live underwater.
Is it permanently in the water, or will it subside?
Dry out here in July.
What the realtor was suggesting is that the owner will have to look for some special approvals and permits before they tried to build on top of it. I think it's something that they would see this as. You're going to see what kind of foundation there is at the lagoon floor. You have to account for sea level rise, and it backs up to a bridge. It just sounds like a complete nightmare, but someone literally just said, wow, I got $400,000 for that. Sure, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I think the lesson is, if you're going to unload something, just find a rich guy who doesn't really care.
He probably still doesn't care.
Is it unethical to list that and not put in all capital letters underwater?
Yeah, pretty sure it is. Probably illegal also.
But it was auctioned. It wasn't auctioned.
Okay,
so
right.
It's clearly a foreclosure.
As is, one of those as-is auctions. I've been to those, where you buy it as is.
Yeah.
Hope you're getting something decent out of it.
I sold a car once that was a complete lemon. I'd paid I'll just go back. Long story short, first time I ever got more money than I knew to do with, I, like a lot of stupid young guys in rock bands, I bought a Range Rover. Or I bought a nice car, happened to be a Range Rover in 1991. And it accounted for over half the money I had in the bank, and I just wrote a check like, I can afford it. I mean, I live on nothing, and it's one of those I can look back on and go, yeah, I was too smart to listen to any advice. And I was being given good advice, like pretend you don't have money. But I was like, I want this car. Well, it was fine. A year later, Range Rover introduced a longer wheelbase version of the same car. So the back seat actually had leg room. Didn't really notice the first one didn't. I'd get people in, hey, come for a ride in my car. Sorry, there's no room. Anyway, they introduced a longer version. And I was like, I'm going to trade up and get that. Bought it. That car was a full-on lemon. I mean, I traded up to a car that would just, I'd be driving down the road and it would just turn off.
Yeah.
I can't express how many times. It was awful. The mechanic from the place brought it home to me after another series of fixes, and I sat in my car with the head mechanic and he goes, I'm going to tell you something, they'll fire me, but get rid of this car. These are horrible. I could give you a calendar, and for every 5,000 miles, I'll write on your calendar exactly what's going to go wrong with it. These are the worst things we've ever dealt with. Just dump it. And I'm like, thanks, man. And then I'm like, well, how do I get rid of a car that I know sucks?
Yeah.
I listed the car in a I don't even remember what you used to put the penny saver thing. You just list a car or whatever.
Classifieds. Sure.
This is like 92, and a guy called and he was like, man, I've been looking for one of those, and it's low mileage, a 92, it's blah blah blah. By this time it's maybe 93. And the guy came to buy it and he said, I work on construction sites north of town up in blah blah blah, some rural county, and this thing's really cool. I see him all the time. He was older than me, very well-to-do guy who owned a construction company.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, man, we drove it around my neighborhood, and he's like, man, I mean, if it's let's go. And I sat there, and it was 3 minutes that felt like 3 hours where I was like, what do I tell them? What do I tell them?
Yeah.
What do I tell them? And I cracked, and I said, you need to call Henry at the dealership and ask him. And just look, this car's already had work done on it. And I just went, look, I'm selling this car because it's just a problem. And this happened and this happened. And the guy looked at me and he literally goes, man, I really appreciate your honesty. That's fine, man. I still love the car. I'm going to buy it from you.
No.
And he did. And he called the guy. I called the guy Henry. I said, be honest with this dude. I was just festooned with guilt. And the guy bought my car, just paid me cash for it, drove away, never heard another word from him. And I learned again, like this guy in San Francisco, just sell to rich people.
Yeah,
right. And come clean, and they don't care. He just had his mind set like, I want this kind of car.
Wasn't a single mom with 4 kids
it
saying,
was not that at all.
And you learned to check for counterfeit bills because you got
no, but it's one of those things, it's like you find I was truly eaten alive by, because I was like, what if this guy's gonna dog me the rest of my life if I just say this car is awesome.
Clean slate.
And how about this? There's a video going around, I guess it's on TikTok. A woman at a grocery store, she needs some carrots. She wants 1 carrot for a recipe, but doesn't feel like she needs a whole carrot. She grabs a carrot off the loose carrot bin, snaps it in half, weighs it, and then puts half a carrot in her bag.
Oh my God.
And she's getting roasted.
Yeah.
Is that unethical? Is that weird? Is that totally kosher? What is that?
Well, that's awfully cheap is what it is. I mean, we're talking about pennies here. Clearly, no one's going to buy the other half of the carrot, I don't think, probably. So it's just going to get tossed away anyway. But
what recipe calls for half a carrot?
Right. I just need just a little bit of
just for flavor.
Just a little, just a couple of shavings. Maybe it was this during the winter? Was she building a snowman?
Her
maybe
carrot.
She needed the tip.
By the way, the part of a carrot she purchased she weighed it. It cost 8 cents.
Okay, the whole carrot would have cost like 12 cents or something like that.
Exactly.
Stick the fat end or something or why not? Yeah, why not just peel it while you're in the store? You can take off a little more weight.
Yeah. Or just go ahead and eat it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just go ahead and just eat it, and then pretend it's in the recipe.
Anyone popped a grape or two on the way to the register?
Yes,
I have. Sure. Absolutely, it's unethical, and I've done it many times.
Yeah.
I often eat while I shop, but I'll take I'll find a Cliff Bar or a bag of chips or something, and I'll just I'm starving because I go to the grocery store hungry like an idiot, and I'll eat it. But then I keep the bag and I say, hey, I ate this.
Nope.
You ever do the bulk bin? Put Put your hand underneath the spout.
Oh, sure.
Right.
Just nibble away.
No. I do the bulk bin thing, but I don't eat at the bulk bin. Okay. No. I take something.
Tony gets his head under there.
I will eat something that has a wrapper with a barcode, and I'll say, "Hey, I ate this while But while I do it, it's almost like I'm tempted. I'm thinking like I know someone's going to come up and say something, and I'm going to have to go. I'm here all the time. It's never happened. No one's ever questioned me.
Yeah, Jimmy, my buddy, did not do that. We'd go grocery shopping, and it was one of those, all right, it's Sunday morning. Oh, we've been out for a couple of nights now. How much do we have? And we throw it all on the table. We're like, we have $3.19, and we're hungry. Mm-hmm. So how much ramen, how many 99-cent pizzas can we buy? And we go to the grocery store, and Jimmy, I'd hang back from him because it just made me too nervous. I was raised by a Catholic mother. Jimmy was raised in Salem, Massachusetts, and he would walk through the store.
He's a warlock.
Yeah, he would just walk through the store and eat an entire meal, and he never paid for anything. He made a sandwich once and just ate it. Opened the bread, took out a couple of slices. We walked around, grabbed some bologna, opened it, slapped it on there.
That's impressive.
And then opened a bag of chips while we're walking around, and we'd spend our $3.19, and he would walk out burping, like, I'm stuffed.
We used to do that after football practice. We'd go into a convenience store and grab a carton of something to drink and something to eat. Yeah, it was terrible.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Right in the store.
Just beyond. Well, we should probably put a lid on this. We're gonna. I don't know what the statute of limitations on these things is, but the more I look back, I'm like, there was a Slim Jim at that 7-Eleven.
There's an officer at the door. Ryder, don't let him in.
Jeez, that's terrible. Well, it was Slim Jims and Swisher Sweets. That's how long ago it was.
Swisher Sweets.
As we called them, Squisky Squeets. It's a whole story for another day. Hey, it's almost time for the Mike Evans Hollywood Report and a history lesson. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's June 5th, and right now it's time for the Mike Evans Hollywood Report.
Hey, good morning, KQRS. Good morning, Steve. Zap, good morning. Tony, good morning, everybody. Well, it's Wednesday. Did you go to Marcus Theaters yesterday? $6 for any movie at Marcus Theaters? Write it down. Next Tuesday, like every Tuesday, take the day off and go see a movie at Marcus. I'm still in Palm Springs. Steve, you ought to come out here and play some golf. It's only 105 degrees here. A lot of odds and ends today. When Donald Trump was in his courtroom on Thursday, at the same time, Harvey Weinstein, known as Wine Sleaze, was one floor above in another courtroom. Weinstein's begging to be sent back to Los Angeles while he awaited his rape retrial in New York. He was in a wheelchair, very frail, and Weinstein's request was denied, and back to Rikers he goes. I don't think he can live there for 6 months until that trial. Publicists say that Jennifer Aniston apparently had some work done on her face last year, and she doesn't look younger. She just looks different. I agree. Jennifer Aniston's just beautiful, but with whatever she had done, she just doesn't look the same or as good. While Meghan and Harry were recently in Africa, a published article compared Meghan to the late Princess Di. And when Prince William heard about it, he snapped. Said the comparison to Meghan to his late mother was, quote, disgusting and ridiculous. I tend to agree. Okay, so Tom Cruise has always been a bit of a health nut. But now he spends 6 days a week, 3 to 4 hours every day in the gym, working out. And I'll tell you what, he's got so buffed out that he's named his biceps. Left bicep he calls the python. Right bicep he calls the boa. Okay. Oldie but goodie, 98-year-old Dick Van Dyke, who will be 118 months and was given his first Lifetime Achievement Award 30 years ago, is planning on taking his one-man show on the road. I mean, he's still pretty sharp. There was a special on Dick Van Dyke over the weekend on CBS. Did not get good ratings. But my question is, how many people remember Dick Van Dyke that would go buy concert tickets? I don't know. And I'm sorry, but this is the most ridiculous item of the week, maybe of the month. While there are starving, homeless, veterans living on the streets everywhere, every major TV network and news outlet did a package about a new dog airline. Well, the masters can go along, but it's mainly for the dogs. The dogs get first-class seats. They get massages, grooming, meals, including lobster and steak, and on and on. Airline only offers service New York to L.A., L.A. to New York, and New York to London. Cost for the dog, $7,000 one way. And a couple of celebrities who have already used the service, Chris Evans and Ariana Grande. Hey, have a great day. We'll do it again tomorrow. Mike Evans, see ya.
Oh, the Mike Evans Hollywood Report, a daily feature. Highlight of the show around here. Kind of like the fact that we like to highlight historical events on this day. On this day in 1977, one of my earliest and most vivid basketball memories, the Portland Trailblazers won the NBA title over the Sixers. That's the season that Bill Walton established himself as the best player in the world. In the final game, Bill Walton, who he sadly just lost last week, had 20 points, 23 rebounds, 7 assists, and 8 blocks.
All?
Not bad.
Yeah, he was pretty good. On this day in 1991, if you close your eyes and I say Michael Jordan hit that bizarre shot where he switched hands in midair, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
June 5th, 1991, Game 2 against the Lakers. My Lakers at the time, they won Game 1 in Chicago, and I thought, yeah, Michael, you're not ready. And then Michael Jordan ran to the rim, jumped up with going to dunk the ball with his right hand, switched it to his left, laid it under, and I went, okay, maybe the Lakers aren't going to win this series. The Bulls won 4 in a row after losing Game 1, and the rest was, of course, history. The Lakers went away for good until they got Kobe and Shaq. But the Bulls, the 90s were officially, for basketball purposes, established on this day.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Wednesday, June the 5th. Good morning. If you're on your way in, look around, watch out, be safe. A lot of wrecks out there already. People losing their minds on their way to work. I never understand it. We're just always in a rush. I rush around like an idiot myself sometimes too. I get better and better at little things. I was accused many times and finally had to cop to the fact that I would lane change without using my turn signal because I was like, but I'm far enough ahead. It really doesn't matter. No one's paying attention.
Yeah.
And one day my wife just simply said, if you just do it every time, you never have to think about it and you're never going to confuse anyone else and it's just easier. And I had to admit she was right. I'm like, you know what? It's just
make it a habit.
Just do it every damn time. I've never not worn a seatbelt. What's the difference with the turn signal?
I thought the seatbelt for a long time, and then someone reminded me with a $100 fine that I should do that more often.
Yeah, it helps. Yeah, the $100 fine helps.
Instantly, I became a believer in the click it or ticket.
Here's something I do that is, it's not even borderline. This is flat out unethical, and I do this every time. My wife and I will go to the grocery store, and we will bring home that tub of mixed nuts.
Yeah.
And I will eat all the macadamias out as soon as I can. I just love them, and I need to get them out of there because, by God, she better not get all of them.
Yeah.
And she will literally go, just don't eat all the macadamias. Can I have a few of them? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. And I will open that thing up, and I'll look in that jug, and I'll shake it down, and I'll get in there with my little needle nose 2 fingers and grab one and get it, and it's like, and she'll just go like, seriously, you can't help yourself. And I'm like, sorry, I can't help myself.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
I know. And then, of course, one would wonder why you just don't buy a bag of macadamia nuts.
They're so expensive.
Yeah, they're
just so expensive.
Right.
It's pretty simple. And, in fact, I'm not the only one because I'm just looking at the KQRS Facebook post. We're asking something we all do that might not be exactly ethical. And Diana wrote, eat all the good stuff from the Chex Mix. Just leave the pretzels in the bag. See, so I'm not alone.
Yeah.
All right, I feel better about that. I'm not alone. Zep, you said there's something you do or did regularly, possibly borderline unethical. It was something with a concert ticket or something. What were you suggesting?
Probably as a working musician, you probably wouldn't appreciate this, but I did not pay for concerts. In fact, the first couple of times I had to actually pay for concerts and they were getting hip to all of our unethical hacks to sneak into concerts. I thought, I've got to get a job in radio because I can get free tickets.
Well, how would you get in?
Our favorite was, and the last time we pulled this was a long time ago, back in the 80s. They're too wise for this now, at a place that is now IKEA. We used to call it the Met Center. Mellencamp was in town performing. And I think it was the Rain on the Scarecrow routine or tour. And the idea was you went in, your buddy went in, he had a ticket, but you didn't have a ticket. So he has a ticket, he goes in, and as he gets through the turnstile, you go, hey, Joe, I forgot my cigarettes. Or can I bum a cigarette? And he would turn around and throw me his pack of cigarettes with his ticket stub in it. And then I would go around to the other side of the Met Center.
Yeah.
I would go around to the other side of the Met Center, and they go, hey, man, I had to run out. I just forgot my wallet. I need some money for beer. Sorry. And anyway, here's my ticket stub. I just got to get back in here. And they'd go, oh, all right, well, you're not supposed to go out and come back in, but the show hasn't started yet, so get in there, you. And so we've used that one a couple of times.
I respect that.
Yeah,
I respect that.
Trick.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I never see. Here's the thing. I don't mind. You said as a working musician, I never minded if somebody snuck in. One more person watching the show makes it more likely they're going to go buy a record or a shirt.
Yeah.
One more fan
after the show. My former band, the Black Crowes, we encouraged our fans to tape the shows because it was like, and the record companies used to hate that. And it was so dumb to me because I was like, anybody who's seeking out live cassettes to trade, they've already bought the record.
Exactly.
They're going to probably buy 2 copies. They want one at home and one in the car.
Super fans.
It's like that. It's fine. How does that interfere with what you're trying to do as a record company? They used to people be like, I can't believe you let them do that. It's like, why? We want them to come back more and more and to appreciate it. Tony, you're a lawbreaker and a miscreant from way back. Did you ever sneak into a concert?
Well, as a younger lad, the big thing was sneaking into the state fair. You used to be able to hop the fence.
Oh yeah,
and just get in for free. But I've been known to shoplift. I don't mind saying that.
All right.
And past jobs would kind of partake of the Pants Plus in particular. I was known as a pretty snappy dresser.
Yeah.
And it was courtesy of my employer.
Would you wear a pair under your pants, like just slide on some pants?
Sometimes, right, little hiding spots that you'd kind of store it, and as you left, you'd make way.
I'll close up tonight. Don't worry about it, gang. I got it. That Tony's always staying late to close up, isn't he? A great guy.
Yeah.
Was it unethical as a kid to go into a PG movie but then sneak into the R-rated movie that you actually wanted to see? Is that unethical or is that just smart?
I'd go see several movies sometimes.
Getting 2 movies out of 1 ticket. See, I would say that's unethical. That is you could put that on the list.
Yeah, but
I just meant like literally walking in and then just going to the wrong theater. Only seeing 1 movie, but it's R-rated when you're, say, I don't know, 12.
That's a gray area. Yeah, that might be unethical to mom.
Right.
But, as long as you paid to see a movie, the movie theater probably doesn't care. Although I've lied about the kids' ages before, not movie theaters so much as because they could go if they were with me, obviously. But say an amusement park or something like this. I would, and my dad taught me that one. By God, if he could save $1.50, lying about your age, he'd do it way past the point of a growth spurt. I'm like, Dad, clearly I'm not 12 anymore. I'm 18. And just go with it. Just don't say anything.
How about this one? Mick on the Facebook page, keeping the wrong change from a purchase. The person is counting out your change. Yeah. You gave them a 10 and they give you change for a 20. Let's just say that. That's happened to me. Someone's given me the wrong amount of change. As a younger person, I full on just thought, well, they're going to learn a valuable lesson when the till comes up short. It's good for them.
And they did learn a valuable lesson.
Yeah, and they probably got fired.
Count better. Well,
I would justify it by thinking, well, you got to make these mistakes. You got to learn. It's happened to me as an adult, and I will stop and go, hey, this is wrong. I just because I then feel like, oh, come on, you can teach the lesson and they don't get punished. Like, hey, you just gave me the wrong change, and they're like, oh my God, thank you so much. I had no problem doing that.
I think I've done that before. I do remember one time getting terribly wrong change by like $20, and I tossed back the 20. I'm like, you're way off.
Yeah, right.
And they shrugged their shoulders and kind of grimaced at me. I'm like, no, I wish I would have kept it.
Of course,
you jerk. If you're going to be a jerk about it.
Well, that's true. If they'd already been a jerk, to me, even if this happens tonight, if someone's being a total asshole, I might not say you gave me too much money. Just in the interest of full transparency. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and text line. Tony, we have a call.
From my hometown of St. Paul, here's our buddy John with an adventure.
John, good morning, sir. Yo, Johnny.
Hey, Steve. How you doing?
John has disappeared.
Oh, John has disappeared.
Is that a hack when you call a radio station and then hang up? That's unethical. Don't do it. This one just happened to me a couple of months ago. I'm skiing with my daughter. We go on a ski trip, and we stay at a cheaper hotel, a more affordable hotel for Dad. And because it's all about the skiing, right? We're not going to be in the room. We don't care where we stay. But a bus picks us up to take us out to the ski resort. And along the way, we have to stop at a really nice hotel for about 10 minutes to pick up some other people. And during that 10 minutes, I said, hey, let's go in there and get a continental breakfast. Look at all those good food in there, right?
Yeah.
Our hotel didn't have a continental breakfast, but this one had a spread. And we went in and just pigged out like we had the master suite up at the top. The one you take the elevator to. So I guess that was a hack. Yeah. We weren't paying for a room there, and
sure,
took the kid in, and
that's not unlike the fountain drink refills. Even if it says no refills, or if you're getting a fountain drink,
sure.
I don't mind doing that, and I'll tell you why. Because a fountain drink, syrup and water, a 64-ounce fountain drink costs that guy like 4 cents,
right?
Yeah. And I'm like, you're charging me. I was somewhere. Oh, but Rosemary and I went to a movie over the weekend, and we went to see. It was so bad, we just laughed off. We were going to see something, and we got there too late.
I just watched that.
We went to go see. I've already forgotten what we were trying to see. We saw something called The Strangers, just a stupid horror film, and we're like, well, we're here. Screw it, let's go. And it was terrible.
A bad horror movie? I don't believe you.
But we were there, so we went in, and it started to rain, so that really is why we stayed in the line. It was like, oh, I don't want to get wet walking in the car. Screw it. So anyway, we go to this movie. But the fountain drink. We just wanted to get a Dr. Pepper, and the girl goes, well, medium or large? I said, just a medium. She goes, it's $7. The large is $7.50. And I went, $7 for this, and I said, well, it cost them 8 cents maybe.
It's a crystal goblet. It's served in.
Yeah, right. No, I went over and filled it up, took a giant cut of it, filled it up again. I was like, no, I'm getting all I can for my $7 damn.
Yeah,
so ridiculous. The talk and text line 651-989-ROCK. Call or send a text. Here's a good text. A buddy and I, once as teenagers, went to a grocery store. We loaded up the cart with mostly frozen foods and then left the cart in a random aisle and left the store. We laughed about all that stuff melting as he drove away. But then we felt bad, went back to the store, and put everything back.
All right. Conscience took over.
Yeah. I love that.
Well
They're
done,
just laughing, and we got away with it, man. Yeah. And then it gets silent.
Yep.
And then you go about 2 more blocks. You know what, man?
Here's another text. I bought a Subway sandwich, and along with the sandwich, there were 5 $20 bills in the bag.
What?
And yes, I returned it.
Okay.
All right, Sarah. Well, we see you. Well done.
So I'm grabbing the sandwich. I'm putting it in the bag. By the way, in Subway, it all happens right in front of you. And then, $5, $20. Okay, well, we don't know.
Yeah.
Or are they reusing a bag they used for a bag drop or a bank drop earlier that day? That one's weird. This one, I've witnessed women that I spend time with, classy, upstanding women that, just wouldn't otherwise do anything unethical. They'll buy something, wear it, something nice and fancy and expensive, and return it the next day.
Sure.
Yep.
Which I thought, I was appalled. I'm like, what? And you talk about all the things I do wrong. Yeah, but they're like, it doesn't. The stores, they make money and then they raise whatever.
Text line, I was a server in a restaurant, waited on a guy who was a total jerk. He left his keys on the table. When he left, I threw them away.
Well,
he came back for them. I looked him right in the eye and said I had not seen them. Wow.
Right. Don't be a jerk.
That's what happens, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
sometimes
get what you give. Paul McCartney.
Sometimes karma is a lifelong slow payback, and sometimes it's just a kick in the nuts right away.
I know.
You gotta watch yourself there. Hey, how about this from the talking text line? Hey, there's going to be a wedding downtown in Anoka on Saturday at 4 p.m. I feel like something unethical is going to happen. See you on the streets. We're going to be in Anoka from 2 p.m. on and enjoying the strut and sip, as we're calling it.
Wedding
but
crashers.
someone's getting married there. Yeah, no kidding.
There is at Jackson Street, I think at the end, Serum. So would that be on the east side? I don't know my directions when I'm standing on Jackson because I've usually been inebriated if I'm in the Anoka Social District. But there is a church right there at the end of the street. If it's there, I say we wedding crash that bad boy.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'll just throw this out there, too, for anyone listening. I am more than willing to officiate this wedding.
Dude, we can get you a license for about $15 to do that on the internet at the break.
I've got the internet. You've got the gumption. The station has the credit card. Let's get me a license. Let's do this.
Wait, the station has a credit card?
I don't know. They tell me they do. More unethical, possibly, behaviors. KQRS Facebook page. We've got a post up there with a lot of great comments. 651-989 is the talk and text line. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. We're discussing potentially, possibly, probably unethical behaviors we find ourselves either witnessing or, of course, doing ourselves. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and Text line. This is a good text that just came in. When I was in college, I delivered for Domino's. I like it already. I once made a delivery to a party where my ex-girlfriend was. All kinds of people are giving me grief. I could clearly tell they had been partying for a long time. Yeah. When they were collecting money to pay me, I just kept saying they didn't have enough. I left with a $47 tip.
Attaboy.
Oh,
Milk it.
No, taking advantage of idiots. That's barely a hack. I love it.
No, it's like, it's true. At that age, college kids, you got to pay attention.
Yeah.
If you're gonna open up your perfect party bubble to an interloper who's bringing you food, you got to have a swivel head. You're asking for trouble.
For that kind of money, they could have had Godfathers. I like Dana here on the KQ Facebook post. We once lived in a duplex and were able to get the neighbor's cable upstairs for 4 years. Oh, the good old stealing of cable. Scam. And now, of course, it's Wi-Fi if someone doesn't put a password on there.
Yeah, my brother, Tom, used to install cable in the 70s. Like, he was early on the cable thing.
Yeah.
And when we moved to Kentucky, he came down to visit. He was already out of the house. And he just took one look at the pole and said, "Oh, I can just climb up there and remove that trap thing, and then you'll get HBO or whatever it was at the time for free." And I remember being like, well, this is interesting. I wonder what my dad's going to say about that. And, of course, my dad was already getting the ladder out before he finished the sentence. He was like, "You're damn right we will." I was like, "Oh, okay, I see how that works." I was waiting.
Up there, son.
I literally thought my dad was going to go, "No, son, we can't do that. I'll buy HBO if I want it." He was like, "No, give me a hand with this ladder."
Getting the ladder. This is funny from the talk and text line. It says, the last time I stole was at the KQ Morning Show Up North weekend. When there are creamers or condiments anywhere, I will pile them in my purse. I still have mayo packets in my purse from last October.
Yeah, they're not losing anybody on that. Take them. Get them out of there.
Very tempting.
I had a friend who came to see me once. I was on the road. It was a female friend, platonic relationship, no monkey business. This is years ago, before I was married, but still, the fact remains, this was not somebody I had a relationship with. I was in town. She just stopped by, and she goes, "Oh, are you going to take a shower?" And I went, "Excuse me?" She goes, "No, can I just go grab all the shampoo and soap out of your shower?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, go right ahead." And she went in, and because there was there's the little shampoo and conditioner bottle, then there was a backup set, and then there was 4 bars of soap, and she just cleaned out the room. I was like, "Yeah, man, go for it. Right on, whatever floats your boat." I guess times are tough, I guess. I didn't know. Mm-hmm. But no, the condiment thing, too. I've known plenty of people that load the purse with ketchup and mustard and mayonnaise packs. Yeah, that's not unethical. That's just living.
Yeah, that is.
I've done that only to have them pop open in my coat pocket.
Yeah.
Full of creamer.
Oh, yeah, that's messy. That's nice and sticky, and you almost got to pitch that garment.
Mm-hmm. I've seen this happen. I see people that I've talked to people who say they've done this, and it just boggles my mind. Now, granted, this is something that a bunch of kids were talking about. My son's friends. And they don't have an extra nickel, but they were flying. What's the airline? Is it Spirit? Is where they charge you for every extra step you take to your seat.
Yes.
And they said they just load up all the layers of clothing just to avoid, because you have to pay for a carry-on. And they said, no, we just put on 4 layers of clothing and just go sit down. And I was like, wait, this sounds like something you see on TikTok. Like, that's where we got it. We do that. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, but to me, that's not unethical. That's if the airline's charging you for a carry-on, go for it.
Yeah, that's just getting away with it. I mean, or just that's good packing and planning, except that I always get really hot on airplanes, In fact, I just got into a thing with a guy recently. I sat down, how we all get our little Airstream, and I turned mine on, pointed it at my aisle seat, and he comes in and plops down in the middle seat and reaches up and closes it. I'm like, excuse me, that one's mine.
Yeah,
I said, that one's mine. I need a little air blowing on me, and I open it up, and he goes, He goes, well, I can feel it. I'm like, yeah, well, you know what?
Well, too bad.
Yeah.
Talk to the guy that designed
the airplane. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Tilt your head to the right.
Yeah, you're just going to have to deal with that. I saw a story today. Speaking of which, really quick. Well, you know what? I'll get to that after because right now we have a call, Tony. Who's on the horn?
It is Boris from Minneapolis.
Boris, good morning.
Nostrovia.
Boris.
Hey, good morning, guys.
What do you got for us, brother?
Yes. Sometimes if I go to a fast food place, like to the drive-thru, rather than me counting out my change, I just hand them a handful of change and let them count it.
At some point about halfway through, they just go, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Why don't you can go.
That works. That's always a good one. I don't think that's unethical. It's just, you're just saving yourself. You're saving everybody time.
Yeah, let them count. They're getting paid to
They've
count.
got a countertop. They can put all the change down there. It's quicker for them to do it. Thanks for the call, Boris. We appreciate it.
Do svidania.
I did see this. A gentleman. It was one of those memes, but a guy was just talking in front of a group of people. He's an elderly guy. He said he's 81 years old. He goes, I still go to McDonald's, the drive-thru. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
And he said he was pulling in and he was placing his order, and somewhere between him ordering or no, this is what it was. He was about to place his order. He was one car behind. The car in front of him pulled away, and he didn't notice. So he was sitting there, and the woman behind him hit her horn. And he waved, okay, thanks. And then she hit it again, and she made a gesture like, let's go already. So he went up and placed his order and then moved on to the second window where you pay for your food, but don't receive your food. He paid for his food, and he said, you know what? I'd like to get the woman's behind me as well. And so he
took
said
the high road.
He said separate, but pay for mine, got the change. And they said, and I'm going to pick up hers behind me. So he got a receipt for both purchases, and then he went up to collect the food as the woman behind him is at the payment window, and then she's told, the gentleman in front of you bought your food. And she's like, oh, and now she's waving and all happy. But he had both receipts, so he took her food too. So he got his food, and then he handed the second. He goes, I have 2 orders.
Yeah.
Then they gave him the next order, and he drove away, which means she pulled up to the window, didn't have a receipt. Her food was already gone. She had to go all the way back around and start the process over again. Is that unethical? No, it's hilarious.
That is
we're right back to karma again. A fine line between ethical, unethical hack and karma.
As a kid who grew up in the Animal House Stripes Caddyshack era, if it's funny, it's ethical.
Yep.
That's the line. As long as it's funny, you can get away with murder.
Makes you feel good.
Exactly. I had a buddy back in the Match days when Match.com was really happening. We were all on Match.com, and he'd get on there, and he was a realist. He's like, I can't compete with a lot of these guys, but they had a little feature, I don't know if they have it anymore, that you could report someone for bad behavior or lying or being a fake account, and they would suspend your account for several days until they checked it out and went, no, I guess you're okay. Or this is a bad account and we're going to a fraudulent account. We're going to take this down. And he would go on there, and all the good looking rich guys, he would report them. So they'd all get suspended. He's like, I got like 3 days here where I'm easily the best guy on here.
Yeah, sure.
I just took down all the studs.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do.
It didn't really work in his favor because it turns out he was who he is. But
well, I was a doorman at a club that had live music that was right across the street from Emory University in Atlanta for a while. And all the kids would come in, and I accused every dude of having a fake ID. Everyone. Every girl. I mean, a 16-year-old girl could walk in. I'd be like, get on in there, no problem. And these guys would be like, hey, man, this is the 3rd time you've done this to me. I'm like, well, then stop coming.
It's like the Studio 54 on campus.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
The hot ones go in, you're not going anywhere.
Probably unethical, sure. Definitely unethical was when I was at the door and a Grateful Dead cover band played. They were called the Dreadful Grapes. They played in Atlanta for years. And I was in the process of purchasing a Vespa scooter, and I was a little bit short. I think I was buying it for $600. I needed like an extra $60 or $80. And the singer for this Grateful Dead cover band, very unlike Jerry Garcia, got in my grill about something during soundcheck.
Oh man,
just flashed some temper. Yeah, we had a run in, and that night, as the place is packed with all the mid '80s Deadheads coming to see a Dead tribute band, and I was just annoyed at the smell of patchouli after a few hours. I was like, They're not going to know how many people came in here. I gave into temptation. I lifted the money I needed to finish off the payments on my scooter from a Grateful Dead tribute act. And I do feel like years later when I was on a tour bus in my own band and it turned into a Deadhead Central, that was karma paying me back. Like,
right. Yeah.
Oh, the guys in my band are obsessed with the Dead now, and now we're jamming all the time. And this is because I took that damn $60 and it kicked my ass for years. And I did feel bad about it, but I also felt pretty cool riding that scooter around town. On the KQ Talk and text line, snuck into a county fair. My friends and I were about 14. We decided to sneak into the county fair. We walked along the riverbank, slid into the river, decided to go back and pay. When we got to the entrance, the lady working knew we had tried to sneak in, and she laughed. She said, "It's the last day of the fair. It's free."
Oh, nice.
That's good
We
work.
thought we were getting away with it.
That's great. Okay, here's a quick list of things. I don't know that. Okay, we already mentioned free refills from the soda machine. Yeah, go for it. It's pennies. Mm-hmm. Oh, and by the way, here's a text. I got to find it on the text line. Somebody said they were at a movie the other day. They went in with the kid. He and his wife and their kid. They go into the movie. Ordered popcorn, three pops. Popcorn, 3 pops, and mozzarella sticks. Our kid got sick before the movie even started, so they refunded the tickets, but the food and the pop was $50. The popcorn, 3 drinks, a popcorn, and mozzarella sticks, $50.
Damn.
Yeah, go ahead and top off that soda. Go for it.
Yeah, top it off. Wow, I know it's kind of getting out of hand.
How about this? Anything to help your kid meet the height requirement for a roller coaster. Get tousled, you mess with their hair, or you tell them to stand on tippy toes. Is that unethical?
No, it's close enough is what it is. Now, there's a safety issue there if they're not the right size for the harness. But if they're close enough where you can get them on with tousling the hair,
then get them in there.
Close enough.
Yeah. It's not like you're talking Fletch, 6'4", but with the Afro 6'9". We're not talking about that.
Yeah. You're not bringing them in the Kiss Gene Simmons boots or anything like that,
so.
Where they're not going to be able to strap them in. I love a good smart ass, and there's no shortage of them on Facebook, especially the KQ Facebook page. Mostly we just roll our eyes and keep going, but Jeremy's got a pretty good one here. Taking this hack thing and really applying the smart ass to it. If you need some bread, go to a duck pond. Wait for people to feed the ducks, jump into the water, and get the bread before the ducks do. They'll be too scared to confront you because they're ducks.
Well, that's a good point. I
Yeah,
hadn't
they're
thought
get
of
some
that.
wet bread out of the deal. Thank you, Jeremy, for playing this morning.
I think it's great to know that a lot of our listeners still wake and bake in 2024. Tony, do we have a phone call?
We do. Bruce from White Bear Lake says
Bruce from White Bear Lake. Good morning, brother.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, I got a good sneak-in story for you. I used to live in a trailer park right next to the Maple Leaf Drive-In Theater in Maplewood, and I got home late on a Friday night, and a bunch of my friends had already gone over there, and I said, not a problem, I'll sneak in. So I went out the mobile home park. There's a big field between us and the drive-in, and there was horses there, and what I didn't realize, I never snuck over there, and there was an electric horse fence there. So I got zapped twice, going into the fence and out of the fence. Then I nonchalantly came out from behind the screen and had to walk around and find my friends in their car.
That's a long trek for a $2 cover.
Yes, it is.
But we used
all my buddies were already in there, though, see, and I
got to get in
from work.
Yeah,
and I had to get in and join them. So.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it was free to get in. There was a price to pay. It was pain.
There certainly was.
Yeah, I came out from behind the screen, had to go right over to the concession stand to look legit. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's awesome. Hey, thank you for the call, brother. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, someone said this is an unethical behavior. Knock on the table to watch the dog freak out because he thinks someone's knocking at your door.
No, that's just fun.
That's
why you have a dog. Sure. Yeah.
Which reminds me, and I mentioned this before, and it's just something I love to throw out there. Never had a doorbell in our home. Never. Well, we have a doorbell. It doesn't work. Ever. For Chauncey's entire life, he's never had a doorbell, and yet when he hears one on TV, he jumps up and runs to the door. Somebody please explain that to me.
Instinctual.
It is instinctual. He hears hears a doorbell on a TV, on a movie or the TV, and he will run to the front door. And I was telling someone that, and they were like, no way. And then I just immediately on my phone, I go to YouTube. I'm like, doorbell chime, and you have it quick. And I click it, and sure enough, he hears the doo-doo, and he jumps up barking. I mean, how?
He feels your vibe, maybe.
I don't know, man. It's a weird one. I mean, I guess, hell, border collies grow up knowing how to herd sheep for the most part. So I guess it is just in the genes.
The universe's great mysteries. I love this hack. If you're broke and can't afford an expensive wedding ring, just go to a pawn shop, buy a really old ring from there. And then tell your partner it was your grandmother's ring and it has a lot of sentimental value.
Yeah, that might end up biting you on the ass.
You got to have at least one dead grandma, I guess.
You better.
But yeah,
you better.
Yeah, exactly. But they're like, well, it is kind of cheap and old looking, but it's sentimental with his grandmother's. What a sweet guy I'm marrying. I like that one.
Smokes.
That's clever.
You know what? It's a great time to nominate your dad for KQ's Father of the Year. Tell us all about your dad and why he's the coolest at 92KQRS.com. And we're going to put it to a vote next week. KQ's Father of the Year this year will take home a brand new grill from Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores. $500 from Dennis Kirk and KQ Gear. Sponsored by Dennis Kirk and Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores. Complete contest rules at 92KQRS.com. I just saw something that's fascinating to me. Okay, Coca-Cola forever has been the number one soft drink in America. It's the number one soft drink in the world.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola overall, right? Number two, of course, has been Pepsi.
Yeah.
No longer the case. Dr. Pepper
Whoa.
has surpassed Pepsi as America's second most beloved soft drink.
I would have guessed at least 10 other pops before I came up with Dr. Pepper.
It's pretty astonishing to me. But apparently, Pepsi's been on a very steady decline the past 20 years, which I attribute to people actually tasting it. Sorry, I'm a Coke guy from way back. But apparently, thanks to TikTok and Gen Z, Dr. Pepper is really big with the younger generations. In 2004,
it's those damn pickles.
20 years ago, Dr. Pepper was in 6th place, tied with Sprite for the number one soda, or for the top 10 sodas. Now it has gone from 6 to number 2. Also, by the way, in terms of market share, Sprite will also pass Pepsi next year. That's just crazy. And by the way, I'm a Dr. Pepper fan. I don't drink soft drinks very rarely anymore. Had one over the weekend at the movie theater. It was a Dr. Pepper. The odd occasion I get one, because I thought about this. I'm like, wait a minute. Now that I think about it, I drink more Dr. Pepper than any other soft drink. It's not very often, but when I do, it's Dos Equis. No, it's Dr. Pepper. And so that's, again, I guess I shouldn't be that surprised. If it's working for me, it's working for other people. By the way, Dr. Pepper it's been around since 1885. That's a hot minute.
No kidding?
1885.
Didn't come onto my radar until that guy started singing about I'm a pepper, you're a pepper. Couldn't you?
Yeah.
We all be a
Wouldn't
pepper
you like
too?
to be a pepper too? The guy. Thank you, David Naughton.
Yeah.
American Werewolf in London.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
Right.
So
and then he did the Dr. Pepper commercials, and that was it.
And he cashed in and cashed out when he took that gig.
Yeah, no doubt.
Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? If memory serves, and we can confirm this, that song written by Barry Manilow.
Well, I know he did the McDonald's jingle, right?
He sure, you deserve a break today. So get up and get away. You damn straight he did. He also did Get a Bucket of Chicken.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. Barry Manilow rocked some of the jingles.
He did write the songs that make the whole world sing.
But he didn't write that one.
No, he didn't.
Nope.
Isn't that funny?
I know.
I have to look it up. Yeah, he did. He did the Dr. Pepper song, and he apparently sings it live. He also wrote Like a Good Neighbor, State Farm is There.
What the?
American Bandstand theme.
Grab a Bucket of Chicken, Pepsi Feeling Free, the American Bandstand, We're Going Hopping.
Yeah.
He did?
Yeah.
Barry. I tell you what, you can't
jukebox.
You can't top
Barry Manilow or Paul McCartney.
Today.
I have to rethink my whole songwriting hierarchy here, the tip of the pyramid. I don't know.
I have to rethink our friendship after that.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. That was, of course, the boss, Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA. That album came out, 40 years ago yesterday, I believe it was released. Mighty Max Weinberg on the drum kit. I say mighty because that's what Bruce calls him, but man, Met that guy a few times. Just the biggest jerk. Always
Not
rude.
sure.
That's so
Real
funny.
rude. Always rude. And I said that to somebody once, and they were like, oh, he's probably rude because your singer made fun of Bruce once. And I said, well, that's like me giving him credit for writing songs.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? I was like, my singer badmouthed everybody. Take it up with him.
If your singer hates his singer, then the drummer has to hate the drummer.
Yeah.
If you'd run into, I don't know, Gary Rossington, the bass player, perhaps he would have been very cheerful.
We had a problem with him, too.
Oh, okay.
Gary Rossington was in Skinnerd. Gary Talent, the bass player for E Street
that's
Band.
right. Sorry about it.
Real friendly guy. I met Gary Talent. He lives out in Montana. You probably ran into him out there somewhere out west. I think everything past the Dakotas is the same.
Me too.
Yeah, it's all out there. Everyone's having a good time out there. Hey, speaking of good times, my band Bagmen's playing the Turf Club in St. Paul a week from Friday. We're rocking the Turf Club, and we would love to give away tickets. We'd love to have some people out to have a good time. Zepp, you said one of us is going to be working, the others are going to be drinking and having a good time.
Yeah.
Those are not mutually exclusive situations.
No, that's true.
Because I will be working and drinking and having a good time as well.
I'm rarely right about anything.
I'm just saying, don't think the drinking excludes the band members.
My bad. That's
my point. I do 2 jobs. I play drums and I'm on the radio. Why? Because I can drink it both. All right, Tony, what are we doing today? What's today's game?
Fun to be had. Yup, it's true. Dr. Pepper just passed Pepsi as the number 2 soda, trailing only number 1 Coca-Cola in terms of market share. How much do you know about Sody Pop? Well, let's find out. It's Pop Quiz, and it's soda interesting. Idiots. Yeah.
I don't even know how you get through the sentence without cracking up. All right, it's Pop Quiz time for Bagmen tickets. We got 2 callers ready to rock. Who is contestant number 1?
Let's begin with Charlie from Mankato.
Charlie, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you a fan of Soda Pop?
I sure am.
Nice. Do you like rock and roll music?
Definitely.
Okay. Wow. There's a quick pause there. I was worried. All right. Well, the Bagmen got what you're looking for, and they'll be selling soda at the gig, I'm sure, if that's all you're looking for. So you're in the right place, brother. Good luck. Tony's gonna lead you through this maze of a pop quiz.
Mm-hmm. All right, Chaz. Number 1. Coca-Cola was originally colored green. True or false?
False.
It was.
Green.
That's what they say.
Come on.
That's what the man said.
All I
How
knew
about
is
that?
it used to actually have cocaine in it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
That's very true.
2 pluses.
And that comes from the coca plant, which is a green leaf. Well, maybe. Maybe not. Trying.
Number 2, Pepsi will kill most breeds of cockroaches on contact.
False.
Sorry, it's apparently true as well.
What?
Bug deterrent.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Wow.
Kind of tough to have it sit still and have you pour it on its back. Ooh, refreshing.
Yeah, wow.
But wait. Number 3, the name soda is a derivative of sodium water.
That definitely sounds like it. Sodium bicarbonate. I'm going to say false.
Yikes! It was originally typically very high in sodium. When artificial carbonation techniques were invented, soda stayed on. It's from sodium to soda. Such fascinating info.
I know.
Man.
Charlie, we got to turn this ship around, buddy. Give him 40 acres. Turn this rig around. That's what I'm trying to say.
Ain't going so good.
You got 2 more, Chuck. Fresca was named after the CEO of a bottling company's obsession with a Swedish model whose name was Fresca Ingebrigtsen.
That's kind of weird. That was my actual surname from back in Norway.
What?
Yeah, Fresca.
Ingebrigtsen or Fresca?
Ingebrigtsen. That was our regular family name back when they were back in Norway.
How about that?
It changed as it came to America, but that's kind of odd.
What do you think?
Anyway, I'm going to say false.
You got it.
There it is.
Attaboy.
We wanted it to be true.
Right. One more for you. For A&W root beer, the A&W stands for always wet, perfect for hot, thirst-quenching summer days.
I'm going to go with false.
Correct. The 2 founding partners, Roy Allen and Frank Wright, was A&W.
All right. Charlie, slow start, but
All right.
you came around the corner with a full head of steam. 2 for 5, I should say. Well done, sir. We're going to put you on hold, and we'll see what contestant number 2 is able to do on today's pop quiz. Tony, who we got?
Number 2 is Gene from the lovely town of Stillwater.
Gene, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
How you feeling, brother? You ready to play the pop quiz?
Hopefully.
What's the last soft drink you enjoyed?
I hardly drink any. Probably a Coke.
Okay, number 1.
A couple years ago, maybe.
Front runner, probably also a Yankees fan. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. Go ahead.
No, I'm not.
I know. I'm just kidding with you, Gene. Let's do it, Tony.
That's okay.
All right, Gene, number 1. Doctor.
So long. I didn't know I was going to be so long on hold. Holy moly, I was able to sharpen 3 lawnmower blades waiting.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Use your time effectively.
Yeah, I like that.
Probably make a key while you play the game.
Just about got the transmission changed on my mower, too.
Yeah.
All right, here's your first one, Gene. Dr. Pepper used to promote itself as a hot drink for the cold winter months. If you heat it up, it turns thicker like apple cider. Is that true or false?
False.
It's true. They used to promote itself as a hot drink. Didn't go so well. Number 2, the original spokesperson and logo for Mr. Pibb was a local Southern California patient who escaped a mental health facility and lived out his days in the wild hunting game with a hatchet, intending to portray an image of excitement and unpredictable flavor.
Wow, where do you guys come up with this?
Hot, mostly.
It sounds so bad, I'm going to say true.
It is not. It was made up.
Nobody hunts with a hatchet.
No. Yeah, that's the weird part.
That's what I figured it out.
It was originally called Peppo. Mr. Pibb was named to sound similar to Dr. Pepper, which it was fashioned after. So
Yes, it was.
not an escaped mental patient. Number 3, in addition to its lemon lime flavor, 7-Up is brewed and flavored with enhancement spices like turmeric, mustard seed, cayenne pepper, curry paste, and neoflaxoria.
False.
Correct. I don't think neoflaxoria exists.
That's too many additives.
Yeah, made it up. Number 4, Coca-Cola claims that only 2 people alive actually know the Coca-Cola recipe, and they are not allowed to ever travel on the same plane in case of a crash.
False.
No, it is true.
Oh.
Secret formula.
Well, it's true that they claim that to be the case. We don't know if it's the case, but Coca-Cola still says that's the case.
Yeah, they say that. That's
Yeah.
true. Here's your last one. In the early days of drugstores serving up soda at their counters, the soda fountain operator was known as the soda jerk.
True.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Nice job.
That's 2 for
Right,
5
Gene.
for Gene after 2 for 5 from Charlie, which means we are going into tiebreaker land, gentlemen. So Tony's going to ask a question, and then you'll both have a chance to answer. We'll get Charlie to answer first, and then Gene. Good luck, gentlemen.
God, this is exciting. Here's your tiebreaker. Humans consume an estimated how many cans of soda pop per year? How many cans?
We'll go with 500.
All right.
Wait, are you saying per capita, or are you saying humans across the whole globe? Specify.
Yes, across the globe.
We're looking for total number of soft drinks.
Someone's getting another lawnmower.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Humans across the globe
Humans
consume an
across the
estimated
globe.
how many cans of soda pop per year?
Okay.
Sorry.
We'll go with 100 billion.
Okay.
Charlie says 100 billion sold around the world each year. Gene, what do you think?
Well, I know it's a lot less than that. I would say on average, someone consumes...
It's the whole planet now, the whole
go.
world each year.
Per person?
No. The entire, how many cans of soda are sold around the globe every year?
Oh,
Spit it out.
7 million.
7 million.
It is actually 180 billion cans.
Oh.
It was close.
Yeah.
Man, that is crazy. I think it looks like Charlie's a little closer with 100 billion. So, Charlie, you, my friend, have won tickets to the Turf Club a week from Friday to see Bagmen. A fine three-piece rock and roll, fire-breathing animal, if I do say so myself. Gene, back to the lawnmower blades. Thank you both for playing, gentlemen. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Steve.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to tell you that I'm a big fan, and I've been listening to KQ since the mid-'90s, and it's the best it's ever been with you on board. I'm a giant fan of your music, of the Crows, of Trigger Hippie, and do you keep in touch with Bukovac anymore?
Almost every day, brother. We're very close.
That's awesome, because I'm a huge Uncle Larry fan.
Oh, my gosh.
YouTube channel every day.
Yeah.
Every episode since day one.
Oh, I'm going to let him know. He'll appreciate that. Thank you very much, brother. Flattery will get you everywhere around here.
Give
Cheers.
that man a sody pop.
You got it. Cheers. Thank you. He asked if I kept in touch with Bukovac. Tom Bukovac is a guitarist in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
He's got a YouTube channel called Homeschooling, and most of the videos are him sitting in his kitchen playing guitar and just talking about things. Playing, session
So
work,
cool.
gigs, answering questions. A session player, a deluxe in Nashville. It bored to tears like everybody during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Shut down, couldn't work. Put up a couple of videos of himself for no other reason. Now he's got over 100,000 subscribers.
Damn.
He calls himself Uncle Larry. He's like, hey, your old uncle, for
Old
whatever
Uncle
reason.
Larry, yeah.
And man, is it a lot of fun. So that's what that was all a reference to, in case you're wondering. If you are a guitarist or an aspiring guitarist, check out Homeschooling on YouTube. I kid you not. He's a genius.
Really cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Fantastic. Every now and again, you come across a story and you read it and you just go, you got to be kidding me. A study has found that drinking and sleeping on a plane can kill you. What you are now looking at, gentlemen, is a living medical miracle that I'm still alive.
Right.
Basically, it says airplanes are pressurized. If you're at 30,000 feet, it's like being 8,000 feet high, where air pressure and oxygen levels are a lot lower. And so they studied the effects, had 48 adults sleep for 4 hours in a pressurized chamber. One group with no alcohol, some after 2 drinks. In the lower air pressure, sleeping after drinking puts a considerable strain on the heart, causes heart rates to rise and blood oxygen levels to plummet. They say older people with heart conditions are at the highest risk, but even younger and healthy people. So listen, all I'm saying is this. I've been passed out drunk on planes more times than I can ever count. So, just call me Miracle Boy from now on.
Right. Well, there's 180 billion people, I think that was the stat we just had, that fly every day in the world, and they haul like one dead person off a plane a year. So, I'm going to say don't worry about this one too much.
Let me be retroactively nervous about let me be a thrill seeker. I feel like I was on that show, Thrill Seekers. Or I'm a chunky
drinking on a
soup.
plane and taking a nap.
How do you handle a hungry man with the manhandlers?
Manhandler.
Bullwhip. Come on, let me be a manly man. I'm like the Marlboro man over here. Oh, I drank and slept on a plane. And then you're like, one of every 9 billion. Thanks for nothing. John Ratzenberger. Does that name mean anything to you? For the Scorpions? No, but good guess. No, Cliff Clavin from Cheers. Correct. The all-time, one of the, top 5 side characters in sitcom history? Gotta be. John Ratzenberger also in an awful lot of Pixar films. And oddly enough, wait for it, he'll be joining us in just a few minutes on the KQ Morning Show. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Wednesday, June the 5th. And in a few moments, John Ratzenberger is going to join us. You know him as Cliff Clavin from Cheers. My man has appeared as a voice actor in every film Pixar has ever produced.
Every one?
Every single one. Oh, My goodness, I didn't realize that. I knew he was in a lot of them. I know him as Cliff Clavin forever. My kids know him, of course, from Toy Story. Ham, the piggy bank, if you will, and it's still complete. It's pretty phenomenal. 11 years on Cheers, and then every Pixar film, and a million other things too that I was unaware of. And we're going to speak with him momentarily. We have been discussing on the show unethical behavior, different things. Zepp, you mentioned sneaking into concerts. Yeah. The ticket stubs stuffed into the cigarettes. Hey, give me a smoke. On the KQ Talk and Text line, someone wrote, once went down to the St. Paul Civic Center to crash Led Zeppelin, April 14th, 1976. Lost my friends. I was talking to a police officer, told him my plan to try to crash in. Yeah. The cop says... the guy says, I owe him forever. The cop pulled a scalper's ticket out of his pocket and said, enjoy the show. So a scalper back then, you were probably getting popped. I remember hearing about shows in the 80s where somebody had figured out how to print bogus tickets. It wasn't scalpers. It was like complete counterfeit tickets. Right. And I remember just being amazed. Like, I just thought, like, how is that even possible? Who could possibly... in a million years, figure out how to counterfeit a ticket? It's not that difficult.
No, when they do it digitally now, I guess it's probably been about 5 or 6 years, but happened to a friend, took her daughter down to see Pink over at the Excel, and had bought a couple of tickets from she thought it broke. No, actually, I think she might have gotten them on Craigslist back then, or Facebook Marketplace, sent her the digital tickets. They showed up and they went, this isn't a ticket, not to this show or any show that we're aware of. She got scammed. And, tickets these days, even 4 years ago, I think it was about $500 for a couple of tickets.
Oof. Oh, that's rough. That's a tough one.
And then a little girl there that was very upset.
Watched the movie Dazed and Confused not that long ago with my son for the first time. And he really enjoyed it. He picked up on all of the emotion and heart and all that. And he was really, but the thing that blew him away the most was the very last scene of the movie where they're all racing to Houston to get in line to buy Aerosmith tickets. Yeah. Because he was like, what do you mean? Like, what would that, and I go, well, they're in a small town. You got to go buy tickets at like a record store or at the venue itself when they go on sale Saturday morning, 10 a.m. He goes, wait. For a concert like in an arena? I go, oh, yeah. Used to go wait online. People would camp the night before. I explained that whole thing to him, and he literally looked at me and was like, man, I missed all the cool stuff. Because in his mind, it's like, well, you have to know someone to get a ticket because Ticketmaster, the bots get them all right away, and then you're paying twice. And he was like, what a cool way to get tickets. I'm like, it wasn't all bad in the covered wagon days of the 19s.
No, your record stores would have the local shows, and you'd try to get there before because they had their allotment, and you'd know which record store. If this record store in your neighborhood, then you'd go to the next neighborhood, or you'd have to hitch a ride to the 4 neighborhoods over to get to that other record store to see if they had any for sale. I remember the risk. Oh, I think John's ready to go.
Is he?
Yes,
John.
sir.
Oh, that's great. John Ratzenberger joining us on the KQ Morning Show. John, good morning. Thanks for calling in.
Well, yeah, not at all. Thank you.
John, we were astonished to find out that you are the reason for Pixar's great success. I knew you were in a lot of their films. You're in every Pixar film. Do you have something on John Lasseter? Or, I mean, what is it? How does a guy go to being in every single one of these?
I think it's just the opposite. John asked me to do Hammy the Pig in the first Toy Story, and we haven't stopped since. And then John left Pixar and Disney, and he's now with Skydance, big company, and he does their animations. Matter of fact, I just finished something with him called Wonderla. He executive produced that, and that'll be on Apple Plus, I think it's called.
John, you are a very, very busy man. Inside Out 2 in theaters next Friday, June 14th. You're playing Fritz in that movie. And then, so, I mentioned earlier, my kids know you as Hammy, as you mentioned. They know your voice. They think of you as that character. For us on this show, of course, we all grew up with Cliff Clavin. When you first started, you weren't thinking yourself. Did you realize you had a unique voice, or you had you were an actor, right? I mean, you could have never imagined that your voice. I hear you say 3 words, and I know exactly who you are.
Yeah, I get young kids, wherever it is, if I'm standing in a line at the supermarket and there's a young kid, they'll be tugging at their mother's sleeve saying, Mommy, that's Hammy. So I can't go robbing any banks otherwise. Well, maybe I can just write a note and not speak. So.
Whatever it takes. Cliff Clavin is, I said this before in the show, on anybody's Mount Rushmore of side characters in sitcom history, not the lead guy, but you were such a huge part of such a huge show. And correct me if this is true, you sort of invented that character on the spot while auditioning for Cheers.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually walking out the door. I didn't. I don't know quite how to phrase this. I did on-the-job training, and I never went to acting school, so I never learned those skills on how to audition. So completely different kind of a fish there. But I failed the audition, and I was walking out the door, and I just turned and I said, "Do you have a bar know-it-all?" And one of the producers said, "What do you mean?" And it was a Bic pen lying on his desk, and I picked it up and I explained the history of Bic pen to him.
That's great.
Because I had already had a successful history in England for 10 years, and doing comedy shows all through Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just wanted them to know that I knew what I was doing. And 2 days later, I got the call, and they wanted to try the character out for 7 episodes, and 11 years later, I was still there.
Wow.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Never be afraid to pick up a pen and start running your mouth, I guess, is the lesson. John Ratzenberger is joining us on the KQ Morning Show. Inside Out 2 released next Friday. I also saw you, that show Poker Face earlier this year. I saw your performance there. John, you've done so many things. At this point, your phone just rings every day, I would imagine. Somebody's always got you in mind for something?
No, I guess just like anybody else. I get up in the morning and let's see, which foot should I put on the floor first? Is it coffee or tea? And, the phone rings, great. I try not to worry about such things. If it's not in my control, like, making pasta or whatever it is, it's in God's hands. There's nothing I can do.
John,
but, I'm blessed. I'm certainly blessed.
John, where'd you grow up?
Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Any actors in the family, or were you the first guy to pursue that?
That's funny. No. My dad was a truck driver. My mom worked in a factory. And as far as actors, it's just the characters in and around my neighborhood and who I grew up with. And because even Cliff was fashioned after a local Bridgeport cop who was the father of a buddy of mine, and at the time, and it was fascinating to me as a kid, because this guy came on like he was J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah.
And his attitude is tilted his head, and his eyebrow went up, and when he's talking to, even if he's sending his kid to the store for a loaf of bread, he did it as though this was the most important task on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just funny. But yeah, I just absorbed some of the people I grew up with.
That is a part of the world that is certainly full of characters. That all completely checks out. You've certainly not forgotten where you come from. You are a very outspoken advocate for American manufacturing.
Well, I think I'm. If I'm going to be an outspoken advocate, I'd rather be an advocate for civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all depend on things like roads, airplanes, electricity, water, and we're running out of the people that build and maintain those things. And a lot of people don't realize it, but these companies are really hurting, but they can't say anything because it'll affect their stock price. And so I've started a foundation to teach kids the fundamentals of manufacturing, and it's called Nuts, Bolts, and Thingamajigs, and it's run by the Fabricators and Manufacturers Association, and it's got 300 camps nationwide now. because it's a lot of people that don't, especially men. I certainly am old school, but that's what you do as a guy. You got a toolbox and you can do stuff, and we're lacking. We're lacking in that arena.
Nuts, bolts, and thingamajigs. That sounds fantastic. John, I'm reading here for the first time you're also a drummer. Did you ever play in a band, like when you were in high school? Like a rock band, I should say.
No, I was more military. Drum and bugle corps.
Oh, okay.
And back then, it was very regimented. And just the most recent was I played drums in the Los Angeles Police Department pipe band.
Oh, bagpipes! Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is strong.
Very cool.
Are you rocking the kilt when you do that?
Yeah. Well, it's with the Emerald Society. Emerald Society is a nationwide organization.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
Irish cops and firemen.
Right. John, Inside Out 2 is out next Friday, June 14th. I know you're a very busy man with a busy schedule this morning, so we appreciate you taking the time. It is a real pleasure to chat with you. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Thanks for taking the time and letting me into your halls there. Thank you.
Sure thing, John. I appreciate it. Around the old Gorman household, Cliff Clavin, we used to make fun of my dad because he was also my dad knows everything.
Yeah, right.
We used to say Google was invented for him.
Yeah.
He would just, no matter what you talked about, he would want to just have hey, always have an information about, and we never fact checked him. You just, okay, Dad, whatever.
Yeah.
But at some point, one of my brothers, I remember saying, God, I just never realized how our dad was Cliff Clavin. It was just such a
little
moment.
Fact,
we all just looked at each other like, oh my God, that's exactly right. So funny.
Yeah, we were our own Cliff Clavin till right about the time the kids got the internet. You're like, Dad, that's not.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's tough.
We got Jim from Anoka has an interesting Cheers tidbit.
Okay, Jim. Good morning, sir. Yo, Jim.
Yes, sir.
What do you got for us, brother?
What I got is on the opening credits of Cheers, you see a man, a woman, and a man. I was just wondering if John knew that the man in the back end on that bar in the picture, he was my dad's brother-in-law. And that picture was taken up in Craig, Minnesota. And he was an alcoholic. That was during the Depression.
Huh.
And the thing is my aunt, she was 20 years younger than him, and she would have to call the St. Louis County Sheriff in order to get everybody off the road because Tom was coming home because he was drunk.
No, it'd be easier to get him off the road, wouldn't it, as a police officer?
Guess not. Wow.
Yeah.
And that guy's photo ended up in the opening credits of Cheers.
Those retro photos.
So listen, shoot for the stars. No matter where you are in life, you can still make it on your own, I guess. That's a crazy story.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, John.
Not a problem.
Man, good to know. I that would be hilarious if we had been able to ask John Ratzenberger if he knows. So the photo at the beginning, funny story. A guy from Minnesota, he's an alcoholic.
He knew it.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
My dad was the kind of guy who walked into my house once and he looked down and he goes, I love these floors at pine. I went, actually oak. He goes, yeah, oak floors, just great.
Just roll with it.
Just keep going. I knew it. I knew it at the sight of it. Sure.
The good old pine oak. It's a hybrid, really.
We were talking earlier in the day about slightly or, in fact, overt unethical things we might find ourselves doing. Kind of in that same vein, a Rochester studio owner is in some serious hot water. Apparently, he's been running since 2019 an illegal after-hours nightclub.
That sounds like fun.
Not paying taxes. Operating a nightclub without a license from 19 through 23. Didn't pay state and local sales tax on liquor sales or cover charges, and also grossly underreported income from his business. Wow. So you're not allowed to have a off-the-books nightclub anymore. What's the world coming to?
You say nightclub. I say after party.
Yeah.
I say a good time for friends. We got busted in South Dakota doing the same thing. The zoo in Aberdeen, South Dakota, was a big bar, and it had 6 apartments above it, and all of us that worked downstairs in the bar lived upstairs.
Really?
And as soon as the bar was the bar was closed by law, everybody moved upstairs, and we charged them cover. $5 a piece to get in.
Hell yeah.
And we brought a bunch of kegs because the bar was downstairs and we had access to the kegs. And we bring all the kegs upstairs. We weren't stealing from the owner because the owner of the bar lived upstairs with us.
Yeah.
And we'd make a pretty little penny, and we bought washers and dryers and microwaves, which were fairly new at the time and pretty radical to, your apartment has a microwave? They all have a microwave, ladies. Come on in and heat up your burrito in any one of our rooms.
Living large.
But then, one of the guys that always came in, John, hung out and drank with us. A regular shows up one day, and this day he's dressed a little differently. He's wearing a police officer uniform. All right, John, you became a cop? He's like, I've always been a cop. He goes,
just having fun.
Yeah, just down. This is just where I drink in my civilian clothes. And he goes, but you guys, we got some calls that you're charging, and you can have an after party, but you can't make money on it. Otherwise, it's part of a blah, 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 and the whole thing. And so we had to shut down our after parties or let people in for free, and that wasn't going to happen.
Question, is it unethical for a police officer to hang out and party with you and not let you know he's a police officer?
Well, I mean, it wasn't a stand. He was just drinking at a bar.
Oh, that's true. All right, just curious. I mean, if I know a guy for a while and I'm like, hey, there's that dude. Hey, dude, and you just, you're just friendly acquaintances. You drink together, and then I find out he's a cop. I'm gonna be thinking, oh wait, make sure I didn't say anything or do anything weird.
Right.
I don't know. It's a little weird.
And I'm pretty sure we did say and do things we had to in front of them.
That's very true.
So they're talking about whatever crimes we committed.
Yeah, good thing you never found the bodies. That would have been awkward.
I was the weirdest pickup basketball game I ever played many years ago. It was a great game, just 10 guys, and we ran the same 5-on-5 back like 3 straight games at this public park. And in the third game, both teams had a little guy, like 5'5", 5'6", and so they were the designated point guards. One guy. The only thing we did was we split them on opposite teams.
Yeah.
Just so they could guard. It's like just makes sense. Okay, everyone else is kind of tall. These 2 guys, and they were both really good players, and they were running the court, just totally dominate. Awesome games. But they were really chirping at each other, and they were both trying to show that I'm the superior little guy, right? Well, in the third game, they there's a shove under the basket and then a push and then you MF this, and they're really going, and it's building and building and building. And at the end of the third game, one of those guys hits a shot. I don't even remember if it was the guy on my team or the other guy, but the guy on my team said, "You're getting pretty close, man. You're pushing the line," and then it blows up. The guy on the other team runs over to his bag. He has a little gym bag under the hoop, and he pulls out a knife. Literally said, because he said, "I'm gonna cut you. I'll cut you." He goes, "Go ahead, cut me." Pulls out a knife.
Go ahead, cut me.
The guy on my team runs over to his bag, and he pulls out a gun.
Okay.
And a badge.
That
he was a
settles
cop.
that.
True story.
Right,
Same thing. He pulls out a cop, and he
Wow.
goes, "Let's go." He arrested him on the spot for pulling a knife.
He wins.
Yeah, he won big time. And everybody's like dead silent, and then like, yeah, good move, man. All right.
Hey.
But then he literally arrested him on the spot, and they left. And then we're like, well, now we got 4-on-4. This sucks.
Then the guy pulled out a wig and said, "I'm a judge."
Let's do this right here.
That's exactly right.
I'm a lawyer.
Yeah. He put that white wig on and then went to an English accent and said, "Do you have a solicitor?" Man, yeah, that was nuts, man. That was the late 80s were heady times.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, they were.
Hey,
wild times. Pretty sedate these days.
Speaking of wild times, as the summer is upon us, we're going to be out having a good time as per usual over the summer. We look for any reason to celebrate. How we can play golf again. Hey, we can get on the boats again.
Yeah.
A few companies are planning to help out in any way they certainly can, and especially our friends at Fireball Whiskey. I'm going to explain to you in just a moment what they've got cooking. But I would be remiss if I forgot to mention that the KQ Karaoke Cruise is back, baby. June 21st. On Paddleford Riverboats, we're going to have 2 karaoke stages, drinks with the KQ crew, free food from Lucky's 13 Pub. Get your tickets now at 92kqrs.com, sponsored by Alexander Exteriors and Dennis Kirk. My first real official event with the station was last year's karaoke cruise.
That's right.
It was spectacular. It was an absolute blast. Go to 92kqrs.com and pick up your tickets. Trust me, we are going to have a good time. Okay, back to summer, back to Fireball Whiskey. Golfers, pay attention. You're not going to want to miss this. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good morning for Wednesday, June the 5th. Oh, the month of June for me usually means it's golf time. I have not gotten out yet. I plan to play a lot this summer. It's in the back of my mind that we've got to just look at the calendar and start locking down a weekly round. Hasn't happened yet, but it will.
Yeah, I thought the same thing yesterday. I thought, I'm going to go out. I'm just going to go hit some golf balls today. And then as I was walking to the truck, I'm like, well, it's a little humid. Well, the wind's kicking up. It might start raining in 4 hours. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to go watch golf on TV.
Yeah, watching golf and having a cocktail or two is oftentimes more rewarding than playing golf with a cocktail or two.
It's always more rewarding for me, but yeah, I do like to get out and figure out the swing.
If you're the kind of person who associates a beverage with golf, I do, but not what you might think. The first time I ever hit golf balls, I was drinking a can of grape soda, and it plastered a Pavlovian impulse. When I get near golf clubs, I want a grape soda. For years. Right. It doesn't happen every time now, but it took a long time. I immediately made that connection.
Do you have the grape soda?
If I smell a grape soda, I think of golf.
Okay.
You know what I mean? No, because you can't find grape soda anymore. But for a long time, you'd see a vending machine, and if I were at a golf course and there were like a can of grape soda, I would have to drink it. It was a thing. One thing I've never done is drink Fireball whiskey on the golf course. Might change soon.
I think I have.
You never know.
Yeah.
Because Fireball for Father's Day has a new club they're selling. It is called the Fireball 5-iron.
Hello.
It is a golf club, a 5-iron with 5 50-millimeter Fireball shooters strapped to the side.
Hell?
They're saying it's not really supposed to use it on your round, but you pull it out of the bag, and it's like, give me that 5-iron, and then your friend pulls it out, and there's 5 little shooter Fireball bottles attached to it.
This has the Grantsburg Municipal Golf Course written all over it, or maybe that one down in Faribault I've been hearing about advertised. Maybe I'll take my Fireball 5-iron down there.
They're calling it the first drinkable golf club. It's only $25, so as a gag gift, it's pretty good.
That's the one 5-iron I don't think I'd throw.
Have you ever? Yeah, right. Have you ever? Speaking of golf gag gifts, have you ever hit one of those golf balls that explodes?
No, I haven't. No.
I have not either, but I have been on a tee box when someone did, and it just was it totally freaked me out. I was really, for a split second, what the?
You crushed it.
Oh, I got it. I see what's happening here.
Happening there. And then it got a little trendy there for a while with the baby reveal. Come out and hit up a golf ball. Although it was cool. The only time I saw that ever be cool was on YouTube, and the guy was getting ready to get out there and hit it. It's the big baby reveal. And guess who should come walking by? Bill Murray. And they're like, and Bill Murray walks up, takes the golf club from his hand and hits it for him. And it was a girl, I believe, pink.
And then walked away.
And then walked away. Coolest. One of those Bill Murray moments.
Love that.
You see several. I mean, Bill Murray does pop up in a lot of places.
That's what he does,
Yeah, he put out a movie of his moments.
Yeah, there was a documentary. Bill Murray, this guy was trying to, it's a great documentary.
I like the ones where when there's not a camera present, he always says the same thing, which is, your friends will never believe you.
Yes.
He's leaving.
It's true.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely great. If you're not a Fireball whiskey guy, you're looking for something cool this summer, good news for fans of PBR. Hipsters all around the world unite.
Yeah.
By the way, let's just talk about this. When I was a kid, Pabst Blue Ribbon was like the working man's beer. It was like Schlitz or Stroh's.
Yeah.
When did it turn into hipster beer?
Oh, and they put it in a taller can. I don't know. Ryder, you want to field this one for us?
Early 2000s.
It was early 2000s.
It was the day I started drinking.
That sort of became cool.
We got to do something to keep her on board.
All I know is one day I walked into the CC Club and everyone was drinking PBR. And I went, okay, I guess I'll have a PBR. And then I just stuck with it for a while. And one day I decided, you know what? I don't want to drink it anymore. I want to drink something else. And I don't know, went back to one of my other schwills. But yeah, I'll have a PBR me.
Never saw that one surviving from the old beers of my childhood. You know, there were just a handful that I just lumped together always.
Sure.
But PBR is as strong as ever.
Heck yeah.
And now this summer, what they're unveiling in honor of their 180th birthday, the 180 pack. You know what a 6-pack is. You know what a 12-pack looks like. You know what a case looks like. A 180 pack. It looks like a large suitcase-sized pack of beer. The 180.
That's regular
a two-person
size
carry.
Servings or minis?
No. It's a full 180 cans in a box. Now they're not going to. Here's the deal. It's 36 packs of beer. Okay, obviously. 2,160 ounces, and these are going to be on the streets. You will see these in a liquor store, possibly.
Wow.
The 180 pack. I mean, good luck getting it to your car.
Yeah, I mean, if you drank 10 a day, that's only 18 days.
Well, that's very true.
It's not going to get you very far.
That's very true.
I need some help on this one. I'm just abusing my position as the producer because I want to find one of these so bad. I saw it on Twitter. I think it was the play-by-play guy for the Detroit Red Wings sent out a picture. I need to find one. I know it's in Wisconsin. I've done a 99 pack. It was a hell of a deal.
Yeah, what was the 99 pack for?
The 99 pack, they just put it out randomly every once in a while. I picked one up right around 4th of July.
By yourself?
This was during the pandemic. Me and the then boyfriend, now husband, and now this is you know why he married me is because we split this. It lasted till about Labor Day. But yeah, I'm looking for one of these 180 packs. It's a hell of a deal. It was like $125, and that's 69 cents a can. They are full 12-ounce cans. So please, Wisconsin, help me out.
Help Ryder out. She's desperate.
I put out the call.
All right. 651-989-ROCK. Talk and text. Send it in. Email us if you'd like.
Wow. Yeah, just bring a hand cart.
Just drop one off at the KQ Studios is fine, too.
That'll work.
Now, how long do you think 180 pack would last you and the hubby, Ryder?
I bet we make it till Christmas.
Half Christmas?
Maybe half Christmas.
That's not far off.
I had the similar experience walking into a bar once and a band was playing, and I just went to the bar and I saw that PBR tall boy. I mean, about 20 years ago, and I was like, I'll take one of those. And then I looked around, and I remember thinking, like, this is interesting. Why not? Let me see if I hadn't had a Pabst in years. Now, let me see what I think. And, first couple sips, it's pretty good. And I look around, and I'm like, oh, everyone's drinking. What is happening here?
Yeah.
Little out. And this was a toddler and baby era, so I wasn't going out that often. I was not really in the bars. Just for a brief period of time. There was just that moment when it happened. I missed it, and then I got there. For all I know, it had only been a few months in, but I felt like, wow, I missed the revolution. The revolution was not televised. This beer is suddenly hipster beer.
I know. And then I wanted to be a rebel, and thank God Northeast came in. Grainbelt came in with the Northeast tall boy. Yeah, and then then I could have that and look like I was a true rebel at Grumpy's.
Okay.
Perfect.
Completely switching gears here because why not? I just saw a tweet. Someone said, so it's Pride Month. Someone said, I completely misunderstood Pride Month. Anyone want to buy 15 lions? So a group of lions is known as a pride, but it may. But do you know what a group of zebras is known as?
No,
a Namblin.
A zeal.
A zeal.
Z-E-A-L. A zeal of zebras. This is the actual term.
Cool.
So a pride of lions, we know that. A zeal of zebras. The only one that gets the herd is yaks. A group of yaks is actually a herd.
Oh.
Good
do you
to
know what they call a group of puffins? I learned on a trip to Alaska once.
I do not know.
No, a circus.
A circus of puffins.
A circus of puffins.
Okay, we probably know that a group of ants is an army of ants. Yeah. By the way, what is a puffin?
It's like
It's
a
a
little,
bird.
it's a little bird, that eats
Okay.
fish, spends most of its time out to sea, doesn't fly a lot.
Right.
I only know this because Sydney came home from 5th grade, one of those grades, and they had to do a report on an animal, and she said, Dad, I'm going to want to do a report on a puffin right before the internet took off. And I went, what is that? You just made that up. That's a fantasy animal. But off to the library we went, and
Nice.
I know a couple of things about puffins now.
Whatever. Imagine being in the microfiche industry right before the internet. You were feeling good. A group of bats is not a flock of bats like birds. It is a cloud of bats.
All right.
Never knew.
It makes sense.
Cockroaches, this will not surprise you. It's known as an intrusion of cockroaches. That's what you
all
call a
right.
group of cockroaches.
Yeah, sure.
These are crazy. Okay, a skulk of foxes.
Skulk.
I'm not going to
no
bore you
idea.
to death with all these, but these are pretty, a shiver of sharks. I like that.
Ooh,
Yeah, this sounds like the kind of Cliff Clavin stuff you could really annoy your coworkers with today.
the funny thing about jellyfish. A smack of jellyfish.
Oh, ran into a smack of jellyfish the other day. You don't want to...
Ever been stung by a
A lot of
jellyfish?
pee. No, but my mom has
Really?
on a beach in Maine. Stepped
Pee on
on
her?
one. I did not. I don't even know if I was in the picture yet. I've just heard the story, but no one peed on her. But that's what we like to come with. Who was the actor who once? Something about a jellyfish, and he was all proud of himself. I think it was Michael Douglas. Yeah, had
Really?
a story like in the last 5 years, I want to say, where he peed on someone. I'm gonna look it up.
I always wanted to pee on my mom. Is that weird? No, I'm sorry. Jellyfish related. I'm just saying. I wanted to save her from pain. A bed of urchins, an ambush of tigers.
Oh, that fits.
Oh,
Ooh, I like this. A confusion of weasels. You weasel. I'm
Yeah.
confused by your presence, you weasel.
You're confused.
Yeah. And finally, a troop of kangaroos. That's a good one.
oh, okay. Yeah,
like the
Michael
troop.
Douglas stung by a jellyfish, by the way, and made his son pee on him.
Really?
Listen, son.
Yeah, he may have been punking. This was during a talk show. But anyway, moving along.
Pee on your father.
Yes, pee on me,
man,
son.
my
Oh,
God. Yeah,
that's a
that's kinda
deep
rough.
scar, yeah.
Someone just texted in a rafter of turkeys, a congress of baboons. I've heard that one before. Flamboyance of flamingos. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. A fever of stingrays. These just go on and on. I most of these I
Flock
think
of
I've
seagulls?
probably come
Did we do that
across. A flock of seagulls. That's more. You got to have the hair if you want to get on that.
The big comb over.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Look, it's so funny. I throw us off the trail, and then suddenly we're all like, "Oh yeah, I've heard about that before." And we're all looking up
I'm just on the keyboard right now.
animal racks. Pretty much a 3-month medical mystery in Scotland had a bizarre solution. Especially as young parents, if your kid is acting a little strange or saying something hurts, you tend to panic. I mean, you go into especially if it's your first kid, you're like, oh my God, we got to figure this out. There was a 3-year-old in Scotland who was complaining of some sinus pain and lethargy. Her parents were like, man, she's just not even herself, and they couldn't figure it out. And like all parents do, they look up her nose, they look down her throat, they look in her ears, they're like, what's going on? And then she'd been showing symptoms for 3 to 4 months, including really bad breath. Suddenly they noticed her breath had taken a turn, and they were like, okay, what's going on? They thought, the dad said, we put it down to being viral. Kids catch everything. They went to the GP, the doctor. The doctor said, look, there might be something blocking her airway, but they looked up there with lights. They didn't see anything. After the 3rd month, the toddler still discomfort, scratching at her nose. They said, by God, we're going into the hospital. And they live in like rural Scotland. So they go down into Glasgow. They pull in, a specialist takes a look up her nose. Within 5 minutes, he goes, oh, I got it. And pulls out a raisin. A raisin up the kid's nose for 3 months.
Any kids in the group here? My kids never went up the nose. I never went up the nose, but I understand it's very common.
Augie put a big marble up his nose, and we had to take him in to get it extracted. Big blue marble.
Big blue marble.
And it got stuck.
Oh, yeah.
Did he fib about it for a couple of minutes? No, he just professed, put a marble up my nose.
Was he in pain?
Hudson dared him. Yeah, it was really uncomfortable.
There's always a brother involved, isn't there? A sibling with the dare.
Almost always. Yeah. There was a. I'll give you. my brother Jim looked at my brother Dave one day and said, if I remember correctly, completely out of the blue, because Dave was talking about he had learned to make scrambled eggs and how much he loves eggs, and Jim said, "I bet you can't eat a dozen." And he goes, "I bet I could." Jim goes, "I'll give you I'll give you $20." And next thing you know, my brother Dave takes the entire carton of eggs, scrambles them, eats the whole thing, and Jim's response was, "I didn't tell you when I'd give you $20." And then they start yelling at each other. My mom comes in, and all she knows is someone just ate 12 eggs.
The eggs are gone.
And that was not cool in the Gorman household. There's way too many mouths to be fed for someone to waste a carton of eggs.
Yeah.
That was quite the blow up. Connell swallowed a marble once. Didn't put it up his nose. It was someone gave us a gift. It was like Steelies, like just silver, those kind.
Oh, I remember those.
Of various different sizes. It was some game, or I don't even remember, but I remember someone here, and I thought, he's 2.5. You don't give, it's too young for this. That's my concern was, up the nose, up the butt. Who knows?
You never know.
And then, sure enough, dumbass me, out of my concern, I set the thing down on the table, and next thing I know, that it's open, and I'm like, let's find all the marbles, and we pull all of them. It's like it was a set of 16, and they're in different sizes, and one's missing. And I'm like, "Did you pick this up?" And he's like, "Ka." A lot of words. And then we determined he had swallowed it. And then, of course, we're like, "We got to go to the pediatrician immediately." And we bring in the other ones to say, "This one's missing. I'm pretty sure he ate it." And the doctor's like, "Okay, well, just check his diaper for a few days."
I mean, a little bit.
Could not have been less concerned.
As far as what you're going to pass, I'm picking the marble. Someone else can have the 9-volt battery. Or whatever.
I did pick that marble out a couple days later, the next day, right out of the diaper. There it is,
right back in the game. Now we can play Chinese checkers.
Man, yeah. So, but I was very happy. That's all there was. I don't think Marley. It's so funny. We have a son, and he's just like grabbing things and swallowing them, and
they're
have
like
a daughter.
Puppies. Boys are like puppies.
Our daughter showed up 2 years later. She was just like, "Would you like me to do anything for you now?" No? Well, then I will sit patiently with my hands folded across my lap
and read my book. Teach myself how to read.
Pretty much, yeah. No kidding.
Yeah.
When Marley first started speaking, she went from 0 to 100. She went from not one word to like full sentences in a week.
Yeah.
We were like, "Man, there's something wrong." She never says a word, and then all of a sudden it was just boom. And we were reading books at night. You read the Goodnight Moon and all that, and she went from not saying a word to just reading the whole book back to us. Like we were like, "Whoa, what have you been waiting on?" And
what are the big books on the top shelf? I want to read one of those. Yeah, I know. How friends will often get married. Just you don't plan it, but about those ages you all start to get married. Then about those ages you all start having kids. And I had two girls, but had two small girls at the time, and a lot of my friends had a lot of boys. They're like, "Well, you're going to keep trying for a boy?" I'm like, "Nope. I'm watching you guys. You see what we're doing over here? We're playing quietly. We're just hanging out. You guys with the boys are constantly, hey, come here. Hudson, Augie." It was just a lot of that. And I'm like, I nap, and they take care of themselves. They're like, "Oh, dear God. No, I can't nap." They're not at an age where I can take my eye off them for a moment. And then, of course, things get quiet. I know the girls are quietly doing something.
Yep.
Things get quiet, and there's boys in the other room. It's time to check on them.
Scheming.
Yeah.
That was what we used to quote from, of course, Shrek. "It's quiet. Too quiet.
Too quiet.
It's too quiet." That was definitely the case. Marley would have her friends over, and they would just go to her room, and you would just hear them squealing with delight for hours, and then they'd go to sleep.
Yeah.
And then Connell and his friends would come over, and there'd be two fist fights.
Yeah.
Then there'd be making
a crash, lots of crashing,
and then there would be screaming, and then, "Can we get some more popcorn?" And then there'd be another fight. I mean, it was insanity, the difference between those two sets of animals.
Yeah.
But we've all experienced that. We've also probably one thing we haven't all experienced is swarms of flying venomous spiders. Well, I mean, not yet anyway. Oh, but they're coming. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talkin' text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Start Me Up by the Rolling Stones. A number of things occur to me when I hear that song, but I go right back to the first time I ever saw the Stones was 1989 on the Steel Wheels tour. in Birmingham, Alabama. And my band, the Black Crowes, had just recorded our first album. It wasn't out yet. And Chuck Lavelle, the piano player for the Stones, played on our debut album. So we had an in for Stones tickets, as it turned out. He arranged for us to get tickets to Birmingham, Alabama. And we drove over to Birmingham. And the whole way there, we were all excited to finally see the Stones. And we were all about Keith. Man, Keith is cool. And man, Keith is so cool. And we had seen Keith's Expensive Winos tour the year before. And he was cool, and Mick was the sellout poser lead singer douchebag. That was the band. That was the thing.
Yeah.
We get to the show. We got tickets dead center, like 20 rows back. Amazing. Legion Field, football stadium in Birmingham. Boom, the lights go down. This big explosion. They open with Start Me Up. And we're all like, oh, yeah, that's so cool. And we're looking at Keith, and he's so cool. And then out of the blue, right up to the front of the stage, from back by the drum riser, Mick comes running up and sings the first line. And there's Mick Jagger, and he's like 50 feet in front of me.
Yeah.
And I literally went like this. I screamed like a 9-year-old girl. I was like hours of talking about how Mick was just out. Who cares about Mick? And then to see him in person, we were all like, oh my God, it's Mick. And I just watched, and I was a kid then too. And of course, let's see, this is 35 years ago. So Mick was 45 years old at the time, and I'm thinking he's 100 back then. But even then, I was like, man, that guy, he just didn't stop. It was mind-blowing.
Steel Wheels.
Faint.
Yeah, that rolled through Minneapolis, too. That was, my first time or something? I think it was at the Steel Wheels.
It was at the Metrodome.
Yeah, it was at the Metrodome. That's right. Big show. And I thought, I'm going to go. Had a chance for a ticket. A friend, got the 4-pack or whatever. I thought, that's a lot of money for me at the time, but I'm going to go all in because I would like to see these guys before they wrap it up, and this could be the last tour.
Of course. Oh, hell yeah.
We're all talking, this could be it for the Stones. Yeah. If you're going to go see them, you better go out to this one.
I remember seeing at the merch stand, first time seeing the Stones, they had like bomber jackets for sale, like leather bomber jackets with the tongue and lips on the back and big. And they were, this is in the 1989, they were like $150 or $175. And I thought, like, no one's going to buy one of those. Yeah. I saw 50 dudes walking around wearing them that night. I was like, what in the world? Yeah, a whole different thing to see that for the first time up close. Kind of like if you see for the first time up close a 4-inch legged venomous spider flying towards you. This is not a story about Australia, although I wish it were. The northeastern part of the United States is being besieged with Joro spiders, Joro, Joro spiders. Venomous spiders have, again, 4-inch legs and the ability to what they call parachute through the air. It's an invasive species, and they are flying throughout the whole eastern seaboard. The wind picks them up, and they go airborne, and they fly in swarms of these spiders, apparently. Now, for the most part, it's not for the most part, but it's important to note these are not venomous to the point where they can really hurt a person at all. Anything that gets caught in one of their webs, you're done for. But they're not going to hurt people. However, the sight of 4-inch legged flying venomous spiders is causing a lot of people great stress.
Sure. Yeah, a bunch of
as you
wussies.
might imagine.
Yeah, that would be weird. That's right up there with shark tornadoes, except it's real.
That's exactly right. I just told the story the other day about Australia. The guy was like, taxi driver goes, redback spiders are flying in a dust storm, mate. Look out. Again, a spider that doesn't fly, but it gets caught up in a windstorm across the western plains of Australia, and this whole city of Perth was being inundated with, those were like black widows. Yeah. Like those were, if they bit you, you felt it.
You want to shut the windows?
Hurt. Yeah, you want to shut the windows. You want to watch out for the redbacks.
The old redbacks.
The Amazon River Basin, the Amazon rainforest, I should say, in South America, whatever part of South America you're in, if you're in the rainforest, all kinds of things there that can hurt you.
Oh yeah,
you've got venomous snakes, you've got constrictor snakes,
anacondas. Yeah,
you've got any number of animals that are deadly to humans, at the very least, very damaging to human beings. But there's something new that was just, talk about invasive species. New, just introduced to the Amazon rainforest, a very, very remote tribe in Brazil. who have been literally they live in their own universe. They are left alone for the most part by researchers. Some people do interact with them. They are studied. Like Brazilian authorities know where they are. But this is a tribe of people that have largely been left alone by the modern world. The invasive species that has turned their world upside down, Starlink provided internet service.
Oh my gosh.
That'll be the end of the tribe.
This is leaping forward like centuries overnight. They're going from living off the land to the internet without locomotion in between.
Somebody better start droning them in some Domino's pizzas.
They didn't get like the rest of us. They didn't go through electricity and running water and then clean water and then
leapfrog
and then penicillin. They went straight to the internet. Thanks to the Starlink service, they are checking it out. It's gone about as well as you might imagine. We have a little clip of someone explaining what's happening.
Right away, the internet was a huge hit and people were on it all the time, so much that it became a problem for the hunting and the farming that are necessary for their way of life. And so what the Marubo leaders did is nowadays in almost all of the villages, the internet is only on for several hours in the morning and several hours in the evening and then all day Sunday.
Oh, man.
They're getting regulated like kids.
Regulated the entire tribe. So, again, 2 hours in the morning, 5 at night, all day on Sunday. That's it.
I wonder if Amazon delivers to the Amazon.
That would really be something.
I wonder, because, I'd be on the internet going, wait a minute, why the hell am I going to go out and try and hunt a crocodile today or whatever the hell they have down there that they're hunting? And, when I can just order from Amazon, they'll bring that bad boy in this afternoon. Look at this. We're going to get all sorts. They're going to bring a bag of groceries in.
The tribe says this is the stuff. Here are some of the trouble spots. Group chats full of gossip.
Oh, funny. The drama.
I heard that they ate. The gossip is stuff like, I would imagine, like they didn't clean the hoof before they ate it in the next village over.
They're going to have real housewives of the rainforest.
They are all involved in social networks. Abusive. There are abusive online strangers chats going on. They're already ripping on each other.
Oh, man.
Hours and hours of sports streaming. They're discovering all kinds of things. Violent video games. Mostly, though, for minors, straight to the porn sites.
Well, what the heck not? They're all running around half naked anyway. They're almost there.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because people have talked about I could look back like anybody and think about how amazing it was 7th, 8th, 9th grade. Like if you got a hold of someone's Playboy and you see that and it was the thrill of finally discovering something, and that's been replaced by anything your weird son or daughter can think of at 12 years old, they'll just find it immediately online. But the fact of the matter is, there's never been a time in human life when if you could go back in time to 1864, like the Battle of Vicksburg, walk on the battlefield with an iPhone and go, you guys want to see some porn? Every gun would drop.
Yep, just shut it down.
What, right there? You can show me people having sex? Yeah, done.
Yeah, all right, we're good here.
Are you kidding?
What is there to fight about? Well, we'll fight online. We'll get into Facebook fights.
That's exactly right.
We'll settle this on the internet. They're screwed now. Although, do you think they're thinking, wait, how long have you guys had this? Oh, we've had it for decades and all of this other technology. But we don't. Oh, no. We were leaving you alone out there to, just to survive. Every day was a struggle for survival, to hunt and feed and clothe and maintain shelter. But you guys have had, condos, Airbnbs, and all this stuff? Mm-hmm. They must think we're dicks.
Oh, God,
you left us alone. You guys have all the conveniences of life. Yeah, no, we left you alone to live your agrarian lifestyle,
every
paradise.
time we showed up, you pulled out your bows and arrows. They're like, well, yeah, because we didn't know you were offering us like strawberry ice cream.
Yeah, there's porn out there.
Ah,
none of our women do this around here.
This is amazing. Imagine what they'd do if you just gave them a set of Legos. They could. That's probably not much.
You could have eased them in with Legos before you went stampeding toward the internet and the end of civilization.
Give them some Hot Wheels and some Matchbox, and And I guarantee you, it take them less than an hour to go. These Hot Wheels are way better than these Matchbox. We all know the difference. And speaking of Legos, there's a big story in Southern California happening right now. A string of burglaries. They're targeting Lego stores.
Why?
7 stores have been hit, resulting in over $100,000 in stolen merchandise. Legos. What's happening with Legos that I was unaware of?
The black market on Legos there, yeah. And again, where do you sell these? You don't take them to a pawn shop or set up your own, Lego operation out of the garage?
I'm not really sure. The Lego theft's apparently a rising issue. High costs of some sets. There are sets of Legos you can purchase that cost $1,000.
God, yeah, there's some really elaborate ones.
Maybe these are parents just trying to get them off the market so their kids quit asking for them. It's our store's all out of them. Somebody robbed them all, kids. I'd love to get them for you, but
I spent $1,000 for this set of Legos, and I'm missing one orange piece.
I don't remember anything the girls and I got tired of more quickly than Legos. And we put together our first house and was like, you guys all right now? You want to do a little playground? No? Okay, me either. Let's dump these in the big box and forget about them.
A separate issue in a different part of Southern California, a task force was organized specifically to track down. They recovered $300,000 worth of stolen Legos.
Put the tile down.
What? No kidding.
What am I missing about Legos here?
Oh, Legos are great.
Well, absolutely incredible.
I mean, they can be. There's that thing, right? But they're great enough to steal them in bulk?
I don't know. Also, this reminds me, remember a few years ago, I mean, it still happens occasionally, but 2021, 22, 23, there were a lot of these roving gangs of people smashing and grabbing. They'd go into retail stores and malls, and they just go in there and
load up and walk out.
Store security is like, we don't have guns. We're not here to get killed over this. Right. A woman was just arrested in San Diego. She's charged with being the mastermind behind a crime ring that was going around to a lot of very popular retail chains and stealing makeup. I mean, tons of makeup. They would go into TJ Maxx, Walgreens, Ulta Beauty, and then sometimes even the big box stores like Nordstrom or Macy's. And there were we all saw the video, like security cam footage, 8-10 people clad in all black wearing hoods of some sort or like a ski mask.
Yeah.
And they would just smash the makeup counters and grab everything. Sephora, stores like that. This is a woman in San Diego who lives in a multi-million-dollar home who was paying gangs of young men and women to do this. They would bring all the loot back to her house, and then she would sell it online.
Yeah.
This woman's name is Michelle Mack. She had people. She paid 12 women, and they stole almost $8 million worth of makeup over a couple years.
Did you say Michelle Mack?
Mack, M-A-C-K.
Oh, my God. Do you know how much mascara I bought from her? I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, she said it was just an overstock. Oh,
$8 million. Oh, and by the way, $8 million nationwide. She was flying these people to Washington, Texas, Florida, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, gave them all their marching orders. She lives in $1 million home in San Diego. She sold online in 2022 through Amazon $1.89 million in stolen makeup.
I mean, this lady's got her act together. You think she could have turned a legitimate business into a lot of profit, but all right, she just wanted to live on the edge. Ma Barker of makeup.
She and her husband and several other defendants have all pled not guilty. They're facing 140 felony charges, including conspiracy to commit organized retail theft, grand theft, and receipt of stolen property. California's Attorney General said this was a multi-million-dollar criminal scheme. It was complex. It was orchestrated. This is not garden variety shoplifting.
You wonder because it all started to happen so fast, all at the same time, and it was so organized. You're like, well, human beings en masse generally aren't this organized. We can put together, perhaps a little riot or something like that occasionally where we just bust loose, but to be this methodical and this organized, of course it's organized crime. There you have it.
We mentioned this story yesterday or the day before. There's this massive fraud trial that's going on, the Feeding Our Future fraud, here in Minnesota, and a juror was approached, a juror on this trial as they went to deliberations, a woman her father-in-law was approached. Her father-in-law was at his home, knock on the door Sunday night, and a woman on his front porch handed him a bag with $120,000 and said, "This is for juror number 52, the man's daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
There's another bag for her if she votes to acquit." We talked about this. That juror immediately reported to the police, and it got back to the judge. She's been removed from the jury. The judge then responded by sequestering the jury. Yeah. Putting them in full lockdown. They are not supposed to talk to anybody or do anything. And what we said was, well, what happens if they find out about the bribe? Because the rest of the jurors didn't know. What if they do find out? Well, now a second juror has been removed from the jury. The second juror did not get a bag of cash. But what happened was a juror called her family on Monday night and said, well, the judge is sequestering us now, so I'm going to be out of touch for a while. The family member said, oh, because of the bribe?
Oh.
And the juror was like, what bribe?
Yeah, are you really sequestering everyone if you don't take their phones?
I guess not.
I mean, because, that's how we stay in touch. We don't actually, just talk in person anymore. So now everybody's phone's got to go in the box, and, I'd be pissed. And furthermore, I already know the answer to this, just having, watched enough crime shows, but why the hell can't they know it?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, why isn't it admissible? I mean, clearly, if they're trying to bribe jurors, they're guilty.
I would think so.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and draw a line through the alleged. Guilty. You're trying to bribe a juror. There's only one reason why I'm so innocent, but you never know. These things could go against me. I think just to be safe, let's drop a couple of bags of cash off at one of the jurors' houses. No.
Ever been on a jury?
Yep.
Yeah, what was the case?
It was a local case of a softball coach who had allegedly molested one of his female players.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
And went through the whole trial as a jury member.
Went through the whole trial as a jury member, yeah.
Ooh, was that how many days?
A couple of weeks.
No kidding.
And we're sequestered for the final weekend.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
So for deliberations, because a lot of it had gotten out into the public, and some people were defending the softball coach, not just in the court, but in the press, as it were. He's a rather popular figure, not here in the metro. Is being tried out of the area, because of all the press and everything. So they sequestered us for the weekend, put us in a hotel, which I thought was kind of cool, Holiday Inn, Had some cocktail service.
I've not been on a jury. I've talked to several people who have over the years. Were you impressed with how with the other jury? Did everybody take it seriously? Was everybody really
very seriously? Even I was serious.
Yeah,
me.
Well,
I wasn't pulling my usual shenanigans, and I was taking it seriously because there are some lives here and some very serious things being.
I'm glad to hear that, because that matches everything everyone who's ever been on juries told me. They were like, you get in there the first day, and there's always a couple of wise asses. There's always somebody trying to make one. And within a matter, it doesn't take long at all till everybody just gets their game face on. People really do. Every experience I've been told about, anecdotally, everyone takes it very seriously. It's almost like you could say, like, I don't want to sit on a jury for 2 weeks, but once you're in there, it's like, no, man, this, like you said, these are lives. This is really important stuff.
Yeah.
And and I'm talking probably a dozen conversations now I've had with people, and not one person's ever said, no, one jagoff was just taking the whole thing like it was a joke. Everybody apparently steps up and does their job.
We wouldn't have stood for that. Yeah, if somebody wanted to behave like that, there were alternates, and we would have asked that they get booted and bring someone else in and takes it more seriously. Furthermore, there was a bit of camaraderie that existed after that. I remember some of us just stayed in touch.
Wow.
And this was before we were doing texting and things like that. It was a little more difficult to stay in touch, but we get together every once in a while and have a bite to eat or a happy hour and just talk about life. Eventually that dissipated, and we all got on with our lives and went on to other things. But it was you're looking at the people there in the court and you're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And so that was a rather serious one. And
no, that's a very serious one.
And I thought I was out of it because I had just started on the KQ morning show. So it was like 25 years ago, I guess. And when they're questioning jurors, I'm like, I'm out of here. I don't know what you suckers are doing for the next couple of weeks, but I'm going home because watch this little move. And Brian's up. Yeah, I'm on the KQ morning show. And I started to stand up, as in, like, why don't you get the hell out of here? You're in the media. You can't, not only the media, but the KQ morning show, you can't be a part of this. And the judge said, sit down.
Oh, boy.
And I sat down, and then I was chosen. I went, what? But I'm on a radio show.
I've not been on the jury. I've been a part of 2 trials, and they both had hung juries.
Both of them?
Both times. And a defendant in one and a witness for another thing that went down. But in both times, the first time when I was a high school senior, I had the jury after. I didn't see anybody afterwards. I was a kid. But in the 90s in a trial with my former band, I stayed around after and talked to the jurors because I thought, how can you? And they voted 6-6. It was the dumbest. It's still the dumbest thing I've ever heard about happening. A guy sued our band and said he was a partner because I drew a doodle on a napkin.
Oh, you brought this up, yeah.
Yeah, it's a crazy story. But I couldn't let it go. I had to ask I had to look these jurors in the eye and go, what the hell is wrong with you? But the one thing that was clearly evident was they took it all very seriously. They were not at all, they truly believed what they believed. They wanted to talk about it. They weren't hiding their faces in shame for voting against us. They were like, oh no. And some of them said things that I did think that's just so ill-informed and so stupid. And you did have a bias, but they're not aware of it.
Yeah.
But they took it very, very, very seriously. And and I've only been called to jury duty only once in my whole life. And I was sprung because I had a radio show, and the guy was like, yeah, get out of here.
What the double standard. Yeah. But anyway, it's in retrospect, I'm glad. At the time, I wasn't really fond of going through it. But in retrospect, I guess I'm glad I did. At least I know what it's like working on the inside of one of those deals.
Tony, ever get the call?
No, I would enjoy that.
So what you're saying on the public airwaves here in Hennepin County is that you're due.
I think it would be cool.
How does your name not get...
I get a special jury outfit.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a registered voter. What is it? Is if you register to vote or if you get a driver's license? I forget.
I forget how that works too. Yeah,
I mean, it's we're decades in. I've gotten one call for jury duty.
Now you guys are just asking for it.
I guess so, man. Well, I got something that I know people are asking for, and that's always information they don't know they need. In honor of the great Bill Walton, who we lost last week, let's talk about the fact that on this day in 1977, he led the Portland Trail Blazers to an NBA title. They beat the Sixers in 6 games. Interestingly enough, they were down 0-2 and came back and won 4 straight. Bill Walton, 20 points, 23 rebounds, 7 assists, and 8 blocks in a series-clinching Game 6. He beat the Julius Erving-led Philadelphia 76ers. The Doc did not come up short. He had 40 points and 8 assists himself. Teammate George McGinnis had 28, but did miss a shot at the end that would have tied the game. That was in Portland. It was a miracle season for the Portland Trail Blazers. Their one and only title because they did have the great Bill Walton. On this day in 1991, as I said earlier, the 1990s officially began when Michael Jordan, driving to the hoop in Chicago, everybody listening goes, I know what he's about to say. Mm-hmm. He jumped to the rim to throw down a brutal right-handed dunk, but he saw his old college teammate, then Los Angeles Laker forward Sam Perkins, standing there, and he thought, oh no, by the way, thought this in mid-flight. Right. Oh, I know Perk is going to try to block it. So he shifted the ball to his left hand and then laid in the reverse layup, all in one bizarre motion. And that was kind of, at the time, as he landed, it was like, the Lakers are done. That was the 80s. This is the 90s. And it was the first of 6 titles a few days later for the Michael Jordan-led Chicago Bulls.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.